15 seconds. Five. Hello, everyone. It's Thursday. It's that time of the week again where we all come together to celebrate Xbox and big ourselves up after BMG puts us down on a Wednesday with his PlayStation podcast. So my name is Ash, aka I'm a Ghostbuster, the GM of XPN Network, as I've sort of been dubbed.
No. You are the ghost-busting, games reviewing, OG games ambassador. I'm a Ghostbuster, Ash.
I feel like you've got that on like a sticky note on your screen, you know.
No. Literally up in the mind. I just try and wing some, and then but you got to do your introductions correctly. It's what's up, guys? Welcome to the XBL Party Podcast.
Hey! I'm here. I'm here on a Thursday night. It's nearly the weekend.
You know what, though?
First week back at work. I've had a week off, and I didn't want to come back to work, and it now feels like it's been 75 days since I last had a day off.
Jesus. So, the GM thing would have worked better, though, because then he could have done his Vince McMahon impression and told Jenna he was fired. See?
Oh, fired! That's literally what happened.
Pretty
the
much.
XBL Network has come to the agreement of the release of the Jenna. We wish him well in his future endeavours.
Yep.
he lost a ladder match for his contract, so we.
Yep.
And then we buried him alive. That's what happened to him.
Nice.
Rest in peace, Jenna.
Rest in peace, Jenna again. But yeah, my name's Ash. I'll be hosting the show. I haven't done that in quite a while, but Redders is having a week off, so here I am. And I am joined by the poet of the PlayStation Network Party Podcast, the Marvel snapping, unfortunately devoured by Destiny 2 playing, the one and only BMG. How's it going, good sir?
What's up? We're back here again Thursday. The XBL Party Podcast. You know, we're going to try and pull this energy in. We need to get motivated. You know, everyone was pumping yesterday. We need to keep the gas on, keep moving forward. But yeah, I'm all good. Good, great to be here. Just the three of us. We're having our own little freeway.
Oh, it does make me chuckle. And we're getting over that 30 FPS slump we all had last week. Everyone seemed to be down in the dumps over 30 FPS. But I'm here to tell you, it doesn't matter. You can still play the game. It'll just look slightly shittier. So don't worry, guys. It's all coming. It's going to be free on Game Pass. Don't complain.
Next gen, Xbox will have 60 frames.
It's coming, guys.
No, next gen Xbox will have 30 frames per second at 8K. They'll be like, nah, don't worry about 60 frames. And it's like, you motherfuckers.
You know what? I feel like that's what's happened here. Everyone's focused on the resolution, and they're like, more foliage, more detail, higher resolution textures. And then they're like, yeah, but it just can't do it at 60. And they're like, more. And that's what we've ended up with, basically. Like, everything looks fantastic, but it looks like you're blinking when you're watching it play. So
I switched because I've been playing Hogwarts Legacy. I thought, you know what, let's just see what that's like at 4K 30. Oh my god, it looked beautiful, but moving, it just looked like it was stuttering, turning the camera, looked like he was having a fit, and I was like, nah.
And that's what it's going to be like in June when it comes out on Switch. It's going to look like squares. Do you know what, guys? If you ever feel sad, if you're an Xbox player or any like a high performance video game console player, and you ever feel sad that your game only performs at 30 FPS, play on a Switch, because those games are lucky to hit 30 FPS, which is funny because the new Zelda game's coming out. Is it this month or next? Probably going to be game of the year. It's going to get like 95, 96 Metacritics because that's what they do. It's going to run at like 12 FPS with like it'll sort of like Vaseline smeared across the screen. It's going to be washed out like all with like fog and stuff like all the Switch games seem to be. But yeah, you feel special. Like if you get sad, just flick a Switch on for an hour and then go back to your Xbox and you'll be blown away. You don't need 60 FPS. Just literally every time you want to play on your Xbox, just play the Switch for a little bit beforehand, and you'll not notice. They're like boom. I'm like, you'll think it's 3D. It's that good. So
see, everyone missed, but Ash just made a slight at Xbox. He said if you're an Xbox player or you play on a high performance, so he's saying one or the other. Like Xbox doesn't have high performance. See, BMG is now like yes. See, BMG now understands what I'm saying. That Ash thinks the only high performance game system there is the PS5. Oh, you kicked off the podcast.
I don't even think that. I think that's just an oversized paperweight at times. I mean, I literally do play on my PlayStation a lot at the moment just because I'm like I fell down the Final Fantasy 14 MMO rabbit hole. I finally got my mount today, guys. 23 hours in.
Ooh,
finally got
3 hours. You can ride a
Chocobo. Yeah,
Chocobo. All hail PlayStation and Sir Saint Jimmy Ryan, who brings us games that play 4K 60 with ray tracing. God bless you, sir.
Oh, and I'll get us back on track. We've mentioned too much PlayStation.
Oh, Jesus.
5 minutes of this podcast. Bimber, it is all Final Fantasy. Do you know what, right? How much have I slighted Final Fantasy over the years on this podcast? We've been doing this podcast 2 and a bit years now. Or on the network, should I say. We've done Xbox podcast, PlayStation, all sorts of podcasts. Bar Final Fantasy 9, I slight Final Fantasy quite a lot. I just don't care for it. Yet, literally, the 3 main games I've got installed on my PlayStation, which are the main games I'm playing at the moment, are the rhythm game for Final Fantasy, the Final Fantasy MMO, and then Square Enix sent me the new Final Fantasy Pixel remasters, which they haven't bothered to put on Xbox. So I didn't have a choice. It was that or Switch, and I was like, well, I don't want to play them on my Switch. It's easy to stream off the PlayStation, so I've gone with the PlayStation versions. So like my whole dashboard at the moment is just Final Fantasy games on PlayStation.
Did you get me a code? I didn't see out pop up in the DMs.
Yeah, you don't like Final Fantasy. You just we've got a hierarchy, BMG. Like I'm the boss and I do everything, so I get them first. Then Sentinel's like tugging and helping out, so he gets them second, and then it comes to like I throw him in the pit, and you Redders and well, rest in peace, Ginny, he was obviously killed in the gladiatorial pit, and Fabio, you fight to the death for the scraps. That's
right.
You got to show willing. Like Sentinel sent me 8 review audios the other day. 8. I hadn't even downloaded them yet. That's how
I wrote a poem. I wrote you a book.
I give you that. I did ask for some review stuff that you might like, but like I asked for Dead Island 2, but I've not heard out yet, and it's out tomorrow. So I think that's a big F you, basically.
Well, I had a choice. It's rather get Dead Island 2 or Jedi Survivor, so you know what's won there.
I would go for Jedi Survivor just for the quality of the game, but I still want to play Dead Island. I saw someone literally, I don't know who it was. Apologies if you're in the chat. I doubt you are, but proper kicking off. He's like, I'm refunding this game. Oh my god, look at this bug. I've had one bug, and he hits this zombie and it fires him off into the sky. And I was like, has this guy never played? Has he never played Dead Island 1? I remember you got in the car and you'd start driving, and suddenly you just float off into the space, basically, and you'd all have to like jump out and die. That was what Dead Island 1 was about. I feel like if there's glitches like that in Dead Island 3. Or 2, should I say, or whatever it's called. I can't remember. It's 2, isn't it? The class name is 2, even though it's the 3rd one.
It's the actual proper sequel.
They're being very faithful to the original, and I'm all for that. So people need to stop complaining.
Yeah, I think it's hit about, is it 75 on Metacritic? It's doing quite well, actually. It's got, I think it's like 4 out of 5 on a lot of sites and things. It looks fun. Looks fun.
Yeah. So I do want to play it, but it's one of those ones I don't want to buy at launch. There's so much else out. It's one I'd probably play a little bit at a time. So I am on the lookout for PlayStation games for you to play though on the channel. We are obviously, as you can see, we're having a bit of a sort of a period of change on the channel. It happens every now and again on the network. We're going to be bringing out some new shows soon. We're putting some to bed. Obviously, we've got slight team changes coming in the process. So expect some new people to show up and some other people to sort of disappear from the scene. And we'll be talking about
Sentinel.
But basically, just expect that we're going to be doing like more live streams.
That is so messed up. That is so messed up. He wasn't talking about me. He was talking about you, BMG.
BMG, I told you, BMG, you start doing these Marvel Snap shorts and getting those big, like 1K views, like Sentinel does. We'll have a discussion, mate. I'll put you up the list.
Firstly, I have no access whatsoever to the YouTube, and secondly, I don't even know how you do a short. You know, to me, a short is a pair of shorts.
When I kick Jinner off tonight, when like we bury his corpse, I'll stick you on. It's great, mate. You can just literally, I'll remove him and I'll stick you on, basically. It'll be like you just have to wear a ginger wig
before we bury him.
Yes, obviously, yeah.
Yep.
Woohoo!
But we're getting out of hand here. I am also joined. We're bloody 11 minutes in and we haven't even introduced Sentinel yet. He is the American eagle riding, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto loving, review audio connoisseur at the moment for the XPN network. He is the sole host of the XPN USA show now.
Yep.
I'm burying that corpse, boys. I apologise.
Wow.
And Sentinel, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. It's a shame to hear about Jenna ducking out. I know the rule of thumb with him is 2 shows and that's it, no more, and pretty accurate. But we're gonna still continue the show. We're just gonna have a ton of guests on and other stuff. But we got to figure that out internally, obviously. It's something we'll work on, but it's a work in progress. And podcasts always change, so it's all good.
Yeah, exactly. It's a time of change. Muppet, he wants a bit of a break, an indefinite break from content creation and stuff like that. It's nothing bad on our end. We've got no beef with him or anything. He told us a bit back he wanted to take a break, and he's now decided it's time. So it happens. We all get burnt out. So he's still going to be alive. He'll still be on Xbox playing games and stuff. He'll still be sat playing Halo Infinite and stuff like that. So it's just he won't be on the show for the foreseeable. He may come on as a guest or something every now and again. I don't know, but we wish him well in his eternal slumber, basically, because we buried him for the second time.
You may see him on Crime Watch. Who knows?
In 6 months, he'll be starting a new show on the channel, and it'll run 2 episodes, and that'll be it. It'll be called something like XP in Belgium or something. Who fucking knows?
Oh man, do you know what? I've realised the reason your PlayStation shows go too far is because I start being on. I'm like, we're 13 minutes in, and we're only just getting to the important stuff, which is what have we been playing, guys? So, Sentinel, I'll let you go first, mate. What have you been playing?
Oh, Jesus, all kinds of stuff, really. And I've been putting together, like I've been playing Fortnite, I've been playing some Grand Theft Auto, Forza Horizon 5, all kinds of stuff, just so, like, the main purpose has been so I can get together footage for these YouTube videos, and some of them, like the YouTube Shorts, because they're absolute money, Some of them have been doing well, other ones, and I learned the hard way, you can't post Call of Duty multiplayer clips without having the sweaty gamers attacking you, because those that are like on Ritalin and Red Bull and non-pharmaceutical drugs, they're gonna attack you and say, oh, you didn't get 13 kills in 9 seconds, and it's like, yeah, because I'm not a cocaine addict, that's why. Ridiculous. But outside of that, the reception has been really good on these YouTube Shorts. So but it's like I've been trying to play games where because not every game is necessarily made where it would benefit of YouTube Short, So I've kind of been combing through different types of games to figure out what's good and what's not. I also did, I told BMG yesterday, I did play on my PlayStation a bit, but, it's mostly been Xbox, so, because I'm primarily an Xbox gamer, so, a lot of Grand Theft Auto, some Halo Infinite. I actually have been doing really well in the multiplayer matches. That's obviously what my PFP is for, but it's come a long way, and I actually enjoy the Halo Infinite campaign when you're outside of these huge buildings and structures and stuff. It kind of seems like that's where it bogs down. So I hope 343 kind of learns from their mistakes. I'm sure we're going to talk about them in this podcast. But Halo Infinite is a game that actually has good potential, and I do still enjoy it.
Had good potential.
We're not talking about we're not talking about Destiny 2. It still has good potential. Unlike Destiny 2 that came out like 8 years ago.
And it's still going strong, the best live service FPS game on the planet today.
Yeah, so are games like Anthem and other games like that. I mean, come on now.
I miss Anthem. Oh.
I played Anthem very briefly, but I loved the flying on it. It was great. Like, they need to implement that into something else.
You know what? You know what's funny, right? Is EA is now developing an Iron Man game. And Andrew Wilson was probably walking by a GameStop somewhere, and they said, "Oh, I would love it if Anthem's flying was in an Iron Man game." And he stops and drops his coffee on the ground, and he's like, "Oh shit." 6 months later, they're like, "Hey, we're making an Iron Man game." It's like, I wonder where you got the idea from, because it wasn't internally, because none of those guys listened to anybody outside of their own little echo chamber. So he had to just be walking by someone when he was having a bagel and a coffee. That's how they came up with the Iron Man thing. I guarantee it. That's how he came up with it.
Well, it makes sense. Definitely makes sense.
Because, all this stuff that, because EA was saying some stupid stuff like, "Oh, single player games are dead," and they just got dragged on Twitter over it. And people are like, "Oh, Twitter doesn't matter." And I'm like, it obviously matters to a lot of these companies because they listened to everything that was being said on Twitter, and they're like, okay, we're sorry. And now they're coming up with all these single-player games, so somebody listens to Twitter.
Not as many nowadays. Elmo's proper destroying it.
Right.
It's in Microsoft have pulled all of their, they don't let people on their ad platform now use Twitter, or they won't going forward use Twitter as a place to advertise for whatever Microsoft's ad print. Basically, because I think, what is it? Twitch wanted $40,000 a month for it, just to have access to the API.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, something.
He must be sweating. He must go to bed. And I mean, he probably does it because he's a billionaire, but probably just he's thinking about it and he's like,
no, you know what? I don't think billionaires even go to bed. I think they drink green tea and fucking meditate and shit like that. And us normal people don't do it. They drink
the blood of unborn children and fucking stay going, don't they?
Right, there you go.
Jesus Christ.
I like that South Park episode where they're drinking the spinal fluid.
With those individuals that are that high on the food chain, it would not surprise me. I'm sure they're lunatics, but who knows?
Yeah, they're all on Summit lesson.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, there's some very, very weird stuff out there. So, what have you been playing then, BMG?
Oh, I've had me daily dose of Marvel Snap today. I got 5 games in. I played five games today. I won them all. It's hard when I keep winning all the time. It's just
such a hard life you've got.
Give me some competition. Jesus, come on. Don't, but I enjoy it. It's a fun game. I like collecting the cards. I like just getting them, leveling them up, and then enhancing them and doing more. It's fun. It's good. It's good fun. What else? As I said yesterday on PSN, I finished Jedi Fallen Order, ready for Survivor coming out next Friday. So very excited for that. Oh, and I played it in 60 frames as well, just in case anyone was wondering.
So excited.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
I just had a sex wee. And I've been obviously getting more into the Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, Harry Potter isn't born at the time of this game.
Oh, is he not?
No. Come on, we had this conversation the other day.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. He's whatever. Yeah, so I've been playing more of Hogwarts Legacy. I'm enjoying it. It's a good game. They want you to kind of spend gold. I know you can't buy gold, but you got to go and do stuff to get gold to do the assignments, which is a bit annoying to get new spells. But I'm buttering up to that Sebastian because I want him to teach me the dark stuff, take me to the dark side of the Force. But story-wise, it doesn't seem to really grab me in a great deal of stuff at the moment. Nothing's like got me really excited, but it's fun. It's fun. The mechanics are fun. The combat's fun. You know, some of the different spells you can do. You know, do one to cast another, and it like combines. You can poison and do damage to multiple enemies at the same time. You know, I've just got the whatever the force push one is, where you point your stick at them and it sends them flying.
You point your stick at them and send them flying.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
Is it Repulso?
I don't know.
Might be
it's a
something
picture of a hand with like wavy fingers.
No idea.
Wow, coffee talk footage. This game is so cool. I actually played through it when it first was on Games with Gold. Such a nice game.
This is Coffee Talk episode 2.
Nice. I know it's coming up on Game Pass, right?
Today, I believe it came out on Game Pass. So
nice.
I was lucky enough to get an early access code of it, and I've done a review. Do you know what? It's been a while since I've managed to get a review code up, done for like the minute it was the embargo finish, because obviously I've been sent quite a lot, so I try and do them in a sort of order. Got this one, I played it straight away, and I got the review out. Like I had it scheduled for the minute it was the embargo ended. So if you like the first game, you'll like this one. It's exactly the same pretty much, with slight improvements basically across the board. So it's got better pixel art, it's got more
Is the first one still on? I mean, is it on Game Pass right now?
I don't think so, but this one is. The first one may still be on Game Pass. I don't know, because I'm sure, like I say, I played it to 1000G and then I uninstalled it eventually. So
yeah,
it's one of those games. Once you've finished it a few times, you probably won't replay it, but it's worth that couple of hours playthrough at least once. And then if you are an achievement hunter, like set it to skip through the dialogue just to get the last couple of achievements for doing like odd endings and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, it kind of seems like some people when they first announced that this game was actually going to be on Games with Gold, they were like, "Oh, such a crappy choice." And it's like, this is one of those games that you shouldn't knock until you try it.
Yeah,
it's such a great, just chill experience, you know.
Yeah, it's just this is one of those games that I would have used originally, like years ago, stuck my nose apart. I was a bit of a snob for games. I hardly played. Like I had a very sort of set style, but now like when I play games, I will play literally anything. And like I watched that Nintendo Indie Showcase yesterday, and I would never have bothered with that. So nowadays I just sort of get it over with, and like I'll go and try everything, even if it's only for a couple of hours. It's definitely worth it. That's the joy of Game Pass, being able to play all these games.
Yeah. So. And you know, Game Pass gives a lot of these. They give a lot of these smaller studios a chance to show people their games, whereas 10 or 20 years ago, you know, these games would come to like PC, but that's it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't find them on console.
No, exactly. You wouldn't. You would just sort of like, you would get them on like PC, and Steam sort of paved the way a little bit, because obviously, everyone can put it onto Steam with very little effort. You don't even really have to have a proper game to be on Steam nowadays, but it does. You've got to try them. If you're one of those AAA snobs, you're really missing out on some of the most. What's the word? The most. They're pushing gaming forward, indie games, because they're trying more and they're going off the beaten path and stuff. Whereas AAA games. It's just the same stuff reskinned over and over in it nowadays.
They're really breathing life into it, is what they're doing.
I apologise that this doesn't look that great because we use StreamYard and it looks all right on my end, but it pixelates it massively, like the gameplay footage. By the time it gets onto the live stream, I don't know why. It's just a limitation of StreamYard, but at least this is more of a slow-moving game, so it's not as noticeable as some of them that we've put up in the past.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I'm actually watching it on YouTube also, and I do that a lot of times to see how how our look is, and it's actually pretty decent.
We are looking at improving the quality soon, though. We are on 720. I do think we are thinking of maybe going to 1080, paying for the upgrade at some point, but
yeah.
It's all coming down the pipeline, guys. So we were always trying to improve, make the podcast better. You've got any feedback? Let us know. Like I say, we started this. Well, I started this 2 and a bit years ago now. There's a sort of way to get through COVID to keep me sane and keep contact and have some social. And it's grown since then. We've now got, like I say, we've got multiple shows. We've had multiple shows. We've had all sorts. So we do streaming, we do reviews, we're doing loads of cool stuff. So it means a lot, and your feedback is always listened to. If you think it's something that's terrible, let us know. If you think something's good and you want to see more of it, let us know. So we do try. And a quick shout out to everyone in chat. We've got Mesuko, we've got Muppet and Thimber. Hello, guys. Thank you for being channel members and being so active in the chat. There was someone earlier who left a comment. I think they were just a spam bot, so I'm not going to shout them out. But
Shadow Mole was in chat as well.
Is he?
Yep.
Hello as well. I see that now. Yeah. Evening, everyone. Thank you for jumping into the chat. Let us know what you've been playing in the chat as well. Like I say, what you've been playing this week. Because have you been playing LTBMG before I jump in?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot you asked me that, didn't you? What did I say? I can't remember what game I said last.
You've gone through Harry Potter and Hogwarts, and you're going to pick up Star Wars now. You finished the first one.
Yeah. Wait. Are you legitimately playing Hogwarts, or is it your daughter again? I'm just asking because when me and Ash were in the... when we were in the party on Xbox and we're playing the game, you told him and you told myself, oh, it's my daughter playing the game. It's not me on Xbox. I'm clarifying is what I'm doing.
My daughter started the game, and she got through the first bit because she told me it was boring. So when you had obviously sent that message, I wasn't even in the room, and now I've taken over and I'm carrying on. So
I know you were in the other room. You were playing Marvel Snap. Once you go Marvel, there is no rival. Okay, that's cool.
No, that's it. You got it, Sentinel. You got it.
See, I got it. Yep.
And after the show, I'm gonna jump on do a bit of Destiny because I've got my weeklies to do, and there's been some updates and changes in some of the weapons and things. So I'm gonna check that out after the show. But other than that, that's all I've been playing.
Nice. Muppet says he's been playing Ghostwire and Slime Rancher 2. I haven't played Slime Rancher 2 yet. I played 1 and quite enjoyed it, and I haven't got round to Ghostwire. I just don't have the time. I'm trying to split myself.
Slime Rancher 2, you got to make time for it. It's a great game.
I've played 1. I really enjoyed 1 quite a lot. But I've got so much. Like I say, I've got a pile of games that I've got to do streams for. We've got
you have to sleep less. You got to sleep less, and you got to game more. That's what it is.
That's it. Clearly, that's it. I just don't have time, and I keep getting I just got sent those Final Fantasy Pixel remasters. There's 6 of them. I mean, I'll probably not play them all to the end. I'll probably do one stream for an hour or 2 for each of the games just to sort of showcase them. But there's just so much gaming out, and then there's Redfall coming. I've downloaded the new Minecraft. I haven't played it yet, but I want to. There's just loads. Lord of the Rings is celebrating its 16th anniversary this month, so I'm probably going to jump back into that just to get the anniversary sort of items and stuff.
Yeah,
there's loads. Mesuko says he's been playing Control. I've got that in my backlog. I bought the Ultimate Edition with all the DLC, and I haven't played that yet. Like I say, this week for me, I've been pretty pretty quiet on the gaming. I've been playing, like I say, I played what I spoke about earlier. Been playing a bit like Kart Rider Drift because I'm only like 2 levels off hitting the max in the sort of race pass. So I've nearly got all the items from that, and then I can sort of have a break for a couple of weeks till the next pass comes out. But yeah, I there's loads. It's just that I've been busy with work, and then I've been trying to keep on top of the channel and plan what's next. I've been recording a lot of footage for shorts and everything. It just never stops. It's like a constant sort of stream. Luke Steele, welcome, good sir. He's been playing Burning Shores, Resident Evil 4, and Dead Space. I assume you mean the Dead Space and Resi 4 remakes, or are you going like proper old school? That's another one. The Horizon DLC's out. I've got the main game. I still haven't played that. I want to jump back into Ghostbusters. I sent that to you earlier, BMG. We'll be talking about that in a bit. Free DLC, new maps. I'm like, God, there's so much. So,
yeah. This game this year has been really good for games so far, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy how much we're getting.
People on that Xbox hasn't done anything as well, though. Like, I focused on Xbox.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah, Redfall's 30 FPS. Look what else they brought out so far. Like, this is the best start to the year Xbox has had in ages. Game Pass has got loads of great day ones. I'm a bit sad that there's a lot leaving Game Pass at the moment and actually decent games compared to the amount that's being added. But at least the ones being added are majority day ones. And there's a lot of first party stuff as well. But I'd like to see, like, the PlayStation Plus has been getting a big chunk of content recently, and I feel like Game Pass is being caught up at a rapid rate, and they need to sort of get on that if they want to stay the number one subscription service. First, like day ones or not, the PlayStation Plus, their lineup has been getting really good. Admittedly, they seem to be removing their first party games after a while, but right now, the games available in PS Plus are absolutely fantastic, as well as the ones that are in Game Pass, which are also fantastic. So there's just tons. And then I've got that Nintendo Online, so I can play the Mario Kart DLC and stuff.
Right.
And there's so many awesome retro games. Admittedly, not enough for like what they charge, and they don't add them enough. But I want to go back through Pokemon Snap and Stadium and stuff like that. So there's just tons. There's so bloody much. Thimber says we're getting a British-made Overcooked late this year. Are you on about the one that's a roguelike that they announced at the Indie Showcase? Because that one looked really weird, like a Overcooked style cooking game roguelike. So I thought that was interesting. Shout out to UK Dazarus in chat. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, let's jump into some topics then, because we've got all sorts to talk about. We've got like people leaving 343 and Microsoft. We've got new acquisitions from other companies. We've got all sorts. So we're going to jump right in with some of the smaller stuff first. Obviously, Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed is getting its second free DLC update. We covered this at launch. We reviewed it on the website and we streamed it. It's a great sort of 4v1 game, one of those sort of games where it's in first person. You play as 4 Ghostbusters and one person plays as a ghost, and basically it's all about catching that ghost before they haunt the entire building, basically. Now, this DLC launches today, and it includes a new map, a new ghost type, a new AI type, new minion abilities, and probably the best bit is Extreme Ghostbusters cosmetics and gears as well. So from the Extreme Ghostbusters cartoon. Now, obviously, you get a new courthouse multiplayer map, very reminiscent of Ghostbusters 2, which is pretty cool. So there's also added a Possessor ghost type and loads of other stuff. But like I say, the Extreme Ghostbuster stuff looks awesome. I love the sort of weird looking proton packs and stuff they had, and the guns and it looks like football armor, like American football sort of armor they wear. So I'm looking forward to that. Like I say, this is a free update. I don't believe you unlock everything straight away. It's probably added into your levels and stuff like that. You have to. It does also say some of the customizations have to be unlocked through sort of side hustles and research contracts. So you'll have to do certain things in game to get them. But it is nice that the game is still being supported with new content. I think that was our main complaint, was that they didn't sort of have enough maps at launch. So, I mean, are you interested in that BMG at all? Like I say,
yeah. Oh yeah, I love Ghostbusters. I grew up watching Ghostbusters. I used to, when I was little, I had the actual trap used to kick out, and you had a little ghost that stood on top of the trap, and you stamped on the button, it flicked it in the air and landed inside the trap. I had the proton pack, the gun, the jumpsuit. Oh, I love Ghostbusters, and yeah, it was kind of our thing. When we first played the game, it was good fun. We all had a good laugh, and we sort of tailed off it a bit. Same as we did with Evil Dead, because there just wasn't enough variety and content there. You kind of could only get so far, and it's like, what's the point now? We might as well, jump to someone else, play someone else. But yeah, to be fair to them, they've been supporting it, they've been refining it, adding new things. It wasn't that long ago. I think it was only last month that or a month before, that they dropped some content, some more skins, more ghosts, and an extra map. But yeah, the fact that we're getting it for free, you're not having to pay for it, which is an added bonus. But any excuse to jump back into Ghostbusters, I'm all down for. I just love it. And using the Extreme Ghostbusters as well, I own the whole Extreme Ghostbusters series on iTunes. I remember when it came to iTunes, it was like dirt cheap, and I needed like stuff to like watch, and I just bought it, and I've completely forgot I had it until like this news came out about Ghostbusters, and I remembered that I've got it. So I'm actually probably going to go back and actually watch it, because it was a really good series. It was a bit of a different take, but it was good. It was fun. It was fun.
It was set in the future, and it was like Egon was like their leader, wasn't he? Like trained them. Yeah. But I just remember, I'm sure there was a guy with a wheelchair.
That was Ray. Ray was in the wheelchair.
A decked out wheelchair where he was like catching ghosts with it. It looked awesome.
Oh yeah. But it's fun. I'm down to jump in and play again, because I was so excited when that game was first announced. I really enjoyed playing it. Again, it's one of them games you've really got to play. You've got to have friends to play. I don't find the ghosts fun. I really don't.
Prefer playing as the
Ghostbuster. Being the Ghostbuster is more fun.
I do that with all of these games though, like Friday the 13th and Dead by Daylight and all that. I prefer to play and Evil Dead. I much prefer to play as like the survivors, the weaker people and stuff, going up against whoever's playing the boss. It just doesn't appeal to me. I'd like the social aspect of the team side over the killer or the hunter or the ghost side. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like it's a more enjoyable game. But with Ghostbusters, I feel like the ghost-busting side is more fun to play in general, unless you get a decent ghost, because some of the ghosts are rubbish compared to others. But possessing things and running around as like a chair and stuff is hilarious.
Oh yeah, it's fun, but Ghostbusters, you want to be a Ghostbuster. That's the thing where you've actually got you trapped. You've got to time it right. You've even, it's not a matter of just zapping them and holding them. You've got to, the ghost is fighting against you, so you're fighting against them. You get multiple people in, so multiple of you can hold the ghost, and you bring it down, put it in the trap. You've got to be well timed for it. And I think last time we played, this like stupid little 5-year-old. I've spawned out this me, whatever you call it, vortex thing, and as soon as I come out, trap was there, boom, I was in and he caught me straight away.
It was amazing. I wish we had it properly recorded.
That was not a good moment in my gaming history, but it was fun. It was still fun. You could still laugh at it, and it's just great fun running around trying to use your PK meter, to try and find where the ghost is, and you're trying to narrow it down, and then you hear it, and then you shout it to everyone, he's in this room, he's over here, and everyone's trying to converge to catch. It's good fun. It just one of them games. It's not even a full price game. I think you can pick, I think it's like $32.99 at the moment. It might even be cheaper on the spring sales, but it's just having the free content. It's like No Man's Sky. All their content they've done is free. And I think Ghostbusters is just going to keep following the same suit. I just hope they keep supporting it, because there is that loyal fan base. There is them people that just that play it daily. You know, I've seen some people have got stuff.
Out, like they're going to keep supporting it till the new film comes out. We'll get something like to tie in with the new film.
It's possibility. It would make sense if they've got enough content or content in the pipework, which could kind of take you up to when the new film comes out, would be great. But it's one of them. I would also hope maybe in the near future we could get a bit of a roadmap, just so we can sort of know where it's going. It's just the problem when you got like a live service game like Ghostbusters, where it's kind of got that niche audience, that there's going to be a point they're going to say, right, enough's enough, we're ending it now, you can just play private games, and which we do see a lot of live services going down that route. So I'd be gutted if it happens, because it's such a good game. And I just enjoy playing it. You can just, even with randos, it's even fun because they still work together. You can tell that the true Ghostbuster fans, because even if they don't talk on the mics, they're listening, they're there, they know what they're doing, and it's just fun. It's not like Friday the 13th where everyone just runs off in a different direction screaming. Yeah, but no, it's a good game. It's a good game.
Nice. Have you played it, Sentinel, or not?
No, I haven't. I haven't played Ghostbusters yet. I don't, and it's like I enjoy the franchise. I watch the movies. I watch most of the movies. I guess you could say I watched the movies that respected the source material. So, I think it's a great franchise and it has a lot of life. I never played the video games, to be honest. But like BMG, when I was a kid, we had some of the toys and we were acting like we were Ghostbusters, me and my friends, my cousins and stuff. So it's a franchise that I enjoy, and that I'm happy that it's still around and that it has not been completely just diluted. They really keep what's important about the franchise, and they're respecting the source material. And to see that not only in media but also in games is great.
Yeah.
And it has such a crowd that's still behind it. It still has a huge following. So it is a game I'll probably check out eventually. I just, again, like you had said before, there's just so many games, but I've never really played Ghostbusters games, I just, for one reason or another, and it's not because I don't like the games or I didn't find them entertaining. It's just because I always had other games that I was messing with at the time,
Nice. Well, apparently, I've just had a look. It's actually on free play days this weekend as well. So
I might check it out. Nice.
Remind me after the show. I may have a spare key for it still. So remind me, and I'll see if I've got one. But for those who don't, it's free to play until Monday the 24th of April. We are in April. I got confused there for a second. As well as Roguebook, which is a deck building roguelike game, and I've covered both of these on the channel. We've done reviews, so you can check them out, but they're both free till Monday. And nice. Apparently also Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer is also free until April 26th. So
before you play Modern Warfare, make sure you drink plenty of coffee and Red Bull, otherwise they're going to squash you. That's just how it is.
That's it. You got to get good.
Yep.
Right,
let's see if I can get the trailer up. One second. So, there we go.
I keep chatting. Oh no, here we go. Yeah.
I do apologise. I don't know what I'm doing here.
There we go. Don't put the music on. They'll have us shut. Sony will have us shut down quicker than you can say.
No, it's on mute.
Well, then press play then. It'll play so everyone can watch it.
Yeah, this is the new update that's dropped. Yeah, it's playing. It's playing.
Yeah, it's just running.
Is it playing your end?
No, very badly. But hey, you can get a good idea, basically.
Right. Oh, all right. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. He's
Yeah, we'll
potatoing
knock it
now.
off there, Ad.
He's pushed his internet too far. He dug too deep and too
right.
easily.
That's why you can't have BMG playing these videos because he's gonna catch his computer on fire and then that's it. You know,
that's it. He'll be buried next to Jenna.
And I'll be gone. I'll keep him warm.
Because he's cold right now. Anyway, Atari has expanded slightly. So Atari has bought 100 plus new retro games. I say new, but it's bought the rights to like 100 plus retro games that are now going to be under the Atari umbrella, as well as the Accolade and GTI trademark. So Accolade and that were like classic companies and stuff. So some of the games they've announced that they've bought include Bubsy, Hardball, Demolition Racer Series, 1942 Pacific Air War, F-14 Air Combat, and stuff like that. They basically said that they want to build up like a deep category of like retro games, and they want to basically re-release these in physical and digital formats, even porting them to modern consoles. So there's clearly a revival of retro going on at the moment, when Atari, admittedly, it's not the original Atari, it's the new sort of corporate shell of Atari that still owns a lot of the game IPs. But they're going to be pumping out remasters, re-releases of all these classic games, and they are looking for more, create new games based on the IPs they've picked up, and explore brand and merchandising collaborations. So who's ready for Bubsy 3D2? Like, that's going to be amazing. We all want that.
No, I want E.T. to be re-released, and I want Adventure.
Wow, you trying to kill a console?
Atari 50 looks like an awesome collection. I haven't got it yet, but I really want it on Xbox.
Yeah. Adventure, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but Adventure was the first ever game to have an Easter egg in it.
Yes, it was, yeah.
Yeah, because they wouldn't credit the creators and that of the game. They wouldn't even put the names in the credits or anything. So the guy that made the game made a secret room. You had to go and get the key, take it back to the start, take it to the secret room, where it actually displayed his name as the creator of Adventure, and that was the very first Easter egg in a video game.
And then they were all doing it. It became uncool.
Nice. But because then obviously they shipped up, made all the games on that and shipped them. It was, once everyone started discovering it, it was too late. It's not like they could have patched it out or anything. And
Atari is trying so hard to get back into the console market,
Do you know what? The Atari VCS, I didn't see the point of it, but I've seen people that have got it, and like, if they keep pumping out there, like they keep buying like retro franchises and putting them on, that's going to be a good bit of kit eventually. I mean, it's not super powerful, but you don't need to be for these sort of classic games. But having new versions of classic games but exclusive to your machine, is a selling point. Like there is a market for that. Like that was the whole interest to me of the Intellivision Amico. Like it wasn't its power or anything. It was that they were bringing out like new versions of their classic games, and they were going to only be on that console. Admittedly, that's never coming out now. It looks like it's turned into a massive dead scam. But if Atari can keep pumping out like these revisited and remasters and stuff, I'm all for that. Like I say, Daz says in chat, give him a Jaguar Mini. No one wants a Jaguar Mini, but the mini console showed that there is a huge boom for mini consoles and retro and stuff like that. I own a couple of them. At one point, I had all of the mini consoles, but I sort of cleared the ones that I just never used. We need a Dreamcast Mini. We need an N64 Mini. The fact that the SNES and NES Mini sold like hotcakes and were like top of the sales charts and were flying off the shelves, and they went, "Nah, we'll not do an N64 one." Do you know what I mean? It's just, I feel like they've done that. The N64 Mini has been sacrificed for Nintendo Switch Online now. I think that's why they stopped doing the the Nintendo mini console.
Well, you know what, and
they got rid of them miraculously. They all started putting them out, didn't they?
You know, and it's like some of these games that would definitely belong on a Nintendo 64 Mini, like the Turok games. You already have 2 of them that are available on Xbox and PlayStation. You know, and like you said, Nintendo is like they don't want to package all these games in a Nintendo 64 for like $120. They want people to be paying like $60 per. You know, Nintendo's greedy like that. So if they could put 20 of these games on a Nintendo 64 Mini, in their eyes, they're losing money, which is completely ridiculous.
We need a GameCube Mini so we can play Metal Gear Solid 1.
It looks like a Rubik's Cube, and it's so small. There you go. Perfect.
It'd be amazing. Yeah, we need all of them. We need all of these. We need a Sega Saturn Mini, seeing as the Sega Saturn the emulation isn't great for Sega Saturn. There's loads. Yeah, the weirdest of things get these mini releases. It always baffles me. Like, you see something come out and you're like, really? C64 Mini? Does anyone really care? Not really.
Yeah, I know, right?
The Mega Drive Mini. Then they brought out the Mega Drive Mini 2. Like, not the Saturn Mini, not the Dreamcast Mini, not the Sega CD Mini.
You know what?
They put a couple of Sega CD games on it, but not enough to warrant buying it again.
They just need to go all in and have like a 32X Mini that you plug into the Genesis Mini and the little Sega CD Mini, and
there was a company that made like a plug-in set for the Sega Mega Drive Mini. You could get the whole Tower of Power. It didn't do anything. It just sat in the top of it, and I was like, but it looks amazing.
And have like the little discs that are like the size of those PSP discs for the Sega CD Mini, Yeah. And just...
Luke, though, we run about legally, not emulation, not your dodgy ways. I'm sure, didn't Luke pull me up about saying something about Funky Links a few weeks back, and here he is putting his eye patch on and his hook. He's sailing to Tortuga to get his Steam Deck emulation. Yeah. That's one thing. I don't think we ever mentioned this on the channel. I don't think Red has ever brought it up as a topic. They've nuked emulation on retail Xbox Series X and S's, haven't they?
Oh, have they?
Yeah, so I had RetroArch on mine. I only downloaded it for just to see what it was like when it went onto the retail and not the developer mode. I just can't be bothered to pay and change it over and stuff. And they've now deleted it, and it deletes off your console and everything. It's literally been nuked off, which is an absolute shame. I mean, it's Nintendo, innit? You know it is. So
bring back the PS Vita.
Yeah. Oh, I used to love the PS. I used to love it. My friend had a modded PSP that I borrowed for once, playing all the PS1 games, which was awkward because it didn't have the second trigger, but it was still fun to play.
You know what? Do you remember? They need a PS3 Mini that's just a DualShock 3 controller, and it like has all the games stored in it, and it just wirelessly connects with your TV. That's what they need.
Yeah,
I'd be all for that. I would be all for that. Do you remember the original PlayStation, like the original PlayStation, not the where they made it smaller, but where you got a Game Genie, as they called it, the box that you plugged into the back of the console, and you had to put a spring in the lid, so because you had to put a normal disc in to boot up the Game Genie, then take the disc out, and then you could play all your copied games or your games that were stored on it. Yeah, they were the days.
Have you seen that arcade company that make a physical arcade machine, but it's got like it's got an internet built store in it, so you can buy and download new arcade games on it. So it's it's great because like you play your arcade game, it gets a bit boring when you've got one on your machine. You can just download multiple like new stuff on it, and they keep adding like retro and also like modern retro onto it. I was like, that's such a good idea, but they don't really push it over in the UK.
Oh, I'd be all for that. Since when we did PSN yesterday, we did 20 questions. Donkey Kong, the original Donkey Kong game was. I'd love another game like that, where you've got to make your way to the top while dodging things. And
you want to play Donut Dodo then?
Donut Dodo.
Donut Dodo. I covered it on the channel. I got it a copy on Switch to review. very much in reminiscence of Donkey Kong, but a bit faster. But that style of gameplay where there's like something that you have to defeat.
Oh, okay.
It's like a bird, and you're dodging stuff and dodging enemies and stuff like that. Yeah, you'd probably really enjoy that. It's a really fun little game. It only features like 4 to 6 sort of levels, but obviously they get harder and harder and harder every time you get through them. Obviously to keep the game good. But looks great, pixel graphics and stuff. Yeah, Donut Dodo. That's definitely worth you checking.
All right. I will have a look. I shall look.
I believe they're actually making an arcade machine of it. It's on Steam, though. It's on Steam. It's not an expensive game either. I think it's like $4.99 on Steam.
I shall have a look. I will have a look. I will endeavour to check that out.
But yeah, that's not the only sort of acquisition and purchasing news. Obviously, Sega bought Rovio recently. We covered this in depth on the PSN Party podcast yesterday. So I don't want to really talk about it again, especially since it's just us three, because we were the same three that discussed it yesterday. So if you want to hear in depth what we thought, just check out yesterday's PSN Party podcast. I'm all for it. I think it's a great buy for Sega, and I think it's going to lead to great things. So yeah, that's one good thing. PlayStation have just announced they've purchased another company. They've purchased Firewalk Studios, who are made up of like ex-Bungie devs. They announced something, I think it was last year, they announced they were doing like a FPS live service game. So they've been purchased now by PlayStation. I think they're the 20th studio now. They're going to be continuing with that announced game and also assisting Bungie with like live service stuff as well in the future.
Because they could definitely use the help. Sorry, BMG.
But no, the Fireworks Studios, they have said they're actually, the developer is working on an original multiplayer IP for Sony.
Yeah, I remember that. I'm sure they came out on stage. Weren't they the ones that came out at the Keelers? And they didn't say anything. It was just like a bloke in a hoodie, and he was like, "Yeah, we're fucking free, making stuff for PlayStation, motherfuckers." And that was like it, basically. Sony's so great. Give me that bag. Jim Ryan's off camera with a gun, with a bag, going, "Fucking you plug Sony, motherfucker."
Yeah.
Right.
Stood there doing his little smooth dance moves.
That's it.
We love you, Jim.
And then I saw something else had been purchased tonight, but I can't find the link anymore. I've not saved it. I apologise. So if anyone in chat can remind me, I'll cover that. But another studio got purchased by another studio, so yay to them. There's a lot, like, it's not stopping. Acquisitions aren't stopping. Xbox are going to get ABK. It's going to be great. Sony's going to keep getting studios. I'm surprised Nintendo isn't buying studios, but to be fair, Nintendo, as long as they just say this is our game, it's going to sell like gangbusters. Like, they've just released, or they're about to release Thingy Wars, aren't they? Advance Wars Remaster.
Yeah.
And while it looks great, I wouldn't say it's like a 9 out of 10 game, but it's getting, like, you look at the certain review sites are giving it sillily, crazily reviews, like 10 out of 10s and stuff, and you're like, no, it's just because it's got Nintendo slapped on the box. There you go. Focus Home bought one branch of Dovetail Games. That's what happened today as well. So it's all on. It's never stopping. Everyone's going to be gobbled up by someone else. It's going to be great. And I welcome our new corporate overlords. So, yes, thank you very much.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
All right, let's get to the next topic. What made me laugh, it wasn't a topic, but I'll mention it. THQ have announced their next showcase. So the THQ Nordic Showcase, it's basically like all the showcases, it's going to show off their upcoming games and stuff like that. It's not till August. It's August 11th. Why are you announcing it now?
Well, you know what? I mean, I think they need to start building hype for some of this stuff, because they basically didn't listen to the crowds and the fans about Saints Row, and they got kicked in the gonads, and now they're like, oh God, they're still hurting from it. Because it's like, it was such a catastrophic failure that the studio got disbanded or something like that. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it just baffles me though that they've they're doing it so late. Everyone else will have gone by then, which may be the reason why. But it's going to be on August 11th. I'm just seeing if there's a time announced yet. This show starts at the kickoff show will be at 8 p.m. BST or 12 p.m. Pacific time. And it's hosted by Handy Games as pre-show, basically. So,
well, it would have been August 4th, but they said, "Oh no, a mobile game is launching, so we can't have it on the 4th. We have to bump it to the 11th because they don't want it around anything else." They're like, "Please look, there's nothing going on." You know, there's no TV shows happening right now, and none of this stuff. So you have to watch us because there's nothing else going on. Because by now everyone's like, "Oh, THQ, what a crock of shit."
But they have announced a few games that'll be there. So they've announced Alone in the Dark, Trine 5, and Outcast 2. But there's also obviously that South Park game they teased, and we've not heard anything since. There's a load of stuff. Yeah. They might announce a Time Splitters, since they now own Time Splitters, and they have said they wanted to do something with that.
They need something. They need
Tomb Raider?
THQ don't own Tomb Raider. It's
Embracer.
Yeah, but it's not under the THQ banner. It's under Embracer. It's separate. So and that's getting published by Amazon. So
yeah, they pimped it out to Amazon. Yep.
This is literally just the THQ Nordic brand. So the ones that make those SpongeBob games. I bet we get another SpongeBob game announced. Do you know what I mean?
WWF SmackDown's coming back out, remade.
I'd love it. I'd love a classic.
Here
like
comes
the Warzone and the SmackDown.
You know what? That would be great, but the licensing with the music used in the game would be.
Well, I would all be up for getting rid of the music.
But then that's like half of the draw taken away, because like when you hear the music kick off of a specific wrestler, you know who it is. And that's why they introduced the theme music in wrestling in the first place, because back in the days, like before Hulk Hogan really took off.
I mean, I'm all for, like, if they could come to an agreement with WWE to use all the music, but like obviously they did have like licensed cool music on the menus and stuff. I'd be happy if they just put that as generic. I wouldn't. It's not end of world. I can live without it. But I would love to see those style games. I'm quietly optimistic for this AEW game if it ever sees the light of day, because it does look very old school. But I just keep my eyes out. I keep my eyes out in case some other game shows up. That's all we want, is like a remake of those old classics.
Oh
yeah.
Right, let's see what else we've got, lads. Oh, I'm getting like hiccups, so I do apologise.
Wait, do we do 20 questions on XBL?
Well, not normally, but I'm the boss. We can do what we want. If you want to do one, I can whip one out for us. So we'll see. See how we get on with these topics.
There's no Redders. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah, it's all mine. The power, the absolute power.
My precious.
I'll just kick Redders off. I can do what I like. I have the power to just boot everyone.
Right.
The power is like intense. Like, I can just erase him from the universe. It's just a special button I've got. When you come on XPN and you sign up to be like a proper member, you literally you sign that away. I don't know if you read this fine print, guys, but it's there at the bottom.
I
thought I was excluded because I dropped my pants.
No, you get double. So
yeah, that was a mutual agreement between you and Jenna that had nothing to do with XBL.
Yeah, that was just like a need for a ride. Literally.
Damn you, Jenna! Damn you!
Yeah, but your STIs killed him off again, so it's sort of like karma.
He said it was the only way that I could get on a show.
But like I say, big shout out to everyone in chat. Like I say, it's always great when you all turn up and join us. Big thank you as well to everyone who listens on like Spotify, Good Pods. We were like in the top 10 for gaming podcasts in Good Pods last week. So big thanks to everyone who was listening there. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, everyone who listens to us on like audio only later. Big thank you to you guys. Everyone who watches this podcast after it's live, because we do seem to have a good chunk of views come after we're live. big thank you to everyone. If you do listen to us on like a provider or anything, please leave a review. A 5-star would be nice, but like I say, any review is I suppose is good publicity in some aspects. So share it out with everyone. Keep the word going. We are working extremely hard to bring the best content we can to you guys. Always trying to improve, innovate, and stuff like that in ways. So yeah, just keep an eye on the channel. Hit that like button. Share it. Join our Discord. We're always active in there, posting rubbish and news. So even if we don't talk about it here, we do discuss a lot of stuff as it goes. So like breaks live, we discuss it in our like public Discord, which everyone's welcome to join, barring anyone who's been banned. Looking at you, Stubbs.
Wow.
I did say he could come back, he just never did. So
poor Stubbsy.
Yeah, just him a Muppet fight. If they kick off again, like we're gonna get him like Gladiator on top of the podium.
No, you know what? For XBN USA, I gotta find a way to get Muppet and Stubbs both on at the same time. That would be like the greatest podcast.
It'd be
All
amazing.
you need is a pool, a big blow-up pool full of lube. Then find it out.
Wow, this is an XBN USA podcast, not a Nintendo podcast. I'm sorry. Those sorts of things only fly on a Nintendo podcast.
Yeah, but we can all agree that the Mario movie is smashing it at the moment. Like, it's now, I think they've estimated 1.1 billion it's going to make by the end of its run.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. You know, and it doesn't help that it feels like Disney is faltering in a number of their different projects. You know. I think if Disney was really able, like if we saw the Disney from the 90s and early 2000s right now, they would be giving this Mario movie much more of a fight. But it just feels like it's not the same Disney anymore.
Well, they've got stuff to deal with. You know, the new Ant-Man Quantumania's just come out. Yeah. And the guy that plays, is it Kang or Krang?
Kang, the main guy, yeah. And the one from Rocket, he's getting done for
That's it.
Sex Pest.
That's it. Yeah. So now they're going to have to recast him. Allegedly. Guilty until proven innocent.
Now they're going to have to do background checks on people and ask around, hey, did they do any crazy stuff before? I just want to make sure so we don't put them in this multi-million-dollar role in the film and then it comes out that they were actually a really bad person.
Yeah, but they could just do what Warner Brothers do and then just leave them in and then do another film with them as the main character.
Right, like with Ezra Miller, because they don't care what he does. I mean, he could like... Oh my God!
I don't even want to kidnap a child and
there you go.
Blow up like a bank, and they'd be like, "Yeah, he's all right. Let him back in."
He's the Flash.
Yeah, I mean, he could pretty much do whatever he wants, and they're like, "No, it's fine. He can keep his job."
Do you know what? I feel like there should be repercussions, but I also want to see Thingy back as Batman, like Michael Keaton, so bad. Like,
yeah.
Hopefully, like they say, it's a Flash film, and then like in the first 10 minutes. Michael Keaton runs him over with his Batmobile and he's dead, and then it's just Michael Keaton for the rest of the film. I wouldn't be sorry about that.
No, I'm a bit disappointed though because they've taken the nipples off the Batsuit.
Good.
Yeah, well, Joel Schumacher isn't running it anymore, so that's why.
I wonder if he still has his credit card, his Batman credit card. Do you remember that from the George Clooney one?
Yeah.
It's like, I've got that credit, or whatever he says. It's like, that's amazing.
And they're like, I'm sorry, sir. The name on this account is Bruce Wayne. I'm sorry. Do you have another form of payment? He's like, I am Bruce Wayne, damn it.
I'd love to see like what the room that they wrote that and designed that in, because like they must have all been high as fuck, because it's like neon wall to wall and shit, like more neon. Yeah. What could you on the Batsuit to make it stand out? Fucking nipples.
Give me nipples.
Yeah. What else can you have?
Nipples.
Jesus.
Do you know what though? I love the old like I love the Tim Burton 2, but then I love the next one with Jim Carrey in and stuff.
Batman Forever.
Batman Forever. I loved Arnold Schwarzenegger as well. I thought that was great, even though it was terrible.
It's time to freeze.
Yeah.
You know what?
I loved them as a kid. You look back now and they're terrible. But
I think the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack from Batman Forever was better than the movie. You know. I think the soundtrack was better because you had U2 and you had a whole bunch of other artists in there that actually made really good, songs for the movie, but the movie just wasn't that good.
Oh, I don't know.
It's a good job we've never had a bad Superman film yet.
Oh, Jesus.
All of them.
I mean, Man of Steel was actually good. It's just they couldn't continue that momentum, and it felt like a wasted opportunity.
Oh, it is. Do you know what? I really love Ben Affleck as Batman. I know not
Fat
a lot of
Batman.
people like it. He's not fat. He's just a normal bulky bloke. He's banging J-Lo. We don't give a shit what you think, Baldy.
No, he's got bags of potato chips shoved inside that suit.
Hey, do you know? I liked his Batman, and it had a lot of story that they never got to, like the whole murdered Robin by the Joker sort of plot they tease but never give us, and the whole sort of like nightmare future thing, his vision that then with Darkseid, which we're never gonna get. Yeah, and I feel bad about that. Like, at least he's in this film, but apparently he's not in it for long. He's going to. Did
you watch the Snyder Cut?
Pardon?
Did you watch the Snyder Cut of Justice League?
Yes, I loved it.
I watched it. It was awesome. But that end bit, the whole future thing, was a bit strange, but it was good.
That's basically the sequel we're never going to bloody get. Basically, it's like the start of a sequel. But like. I love that apart from the resolution where they made it square like it was an IMAX. It's like I'm not watching it on IMAX, I'm watching it on a telly, make it full screen, you dickhead. But the Snyder Cut is a beautiful film. Like compared to the original, everything is better. The graphics are better. The just everything. They've just fixed so much.
Yeah, but it's like because they gave context of what was going on. It's like in the original film, they stood outside. Because obviously Lex Luthor had done whatever he was doing, and then I forgot the guy's name, like zoomed in, zoomed out, and they just looked over and went, "Oh, he's taken the box," and that was it. But you actually watch the Snyder Cut, and it actually is a full cut scene. Obviously there's full scenes and action sequences, and half that you didn't even get, just like appearing out of nowhere. I was half expecting they go, right, we need to revive Superman, and he just sits up and goes, "Cooey, I'm here."
I'm here.
Hello. I'm going to make you bleed now.
It was good. I really enjoyed it. I watched it and I thought, I feel like if we'd got this in the cinema, we'd have all been happy. Like Zack Snyder, love him or hate him, makes good films. I don't care what you say. 300, amazing film. 302, not so much, but 300, amazing. Watchmen, and I'll fight you on the hill here. Watchmen is an amazing adaptation. Yes, they changed the end. But the original end of Watchmen is stupid. A giant squid monster comes and destroys the city, right? They got rid of that and made it into like a bomb-like-esque sort of energy explosion. Makes more sense. Doesn't look stupid. Doesn't like it wouldn't have fitted with the whole sort of way it was filmed and the look. So I will fight anyone on the hill that they don't like the Watchmen. But that also has an amazing director's cut as well that you have to watch. That's overly long.
And the blue guy, he had one big penis. And he wasn't afraid to rock that bad boy out everywhere. He was like, hey, I'm here, I'm blue, I have a big penis. And it was like, yeah, okay, I can get behind that. Don't want to be in front of it.
I'm sure in the comics he always had pants on, though. I swear to God, he didn't have his schlong hanging out. It's been a long time since I read it, though. Meisuko said Kindergarten Cop was awesome. Yes, Kindergarten Cop is awesome. It's not a tumor.
But Watchmen, they've got a TV series out as well.
I've never watched it because I love. The problem is I love the film so much, and it's not based on the film; it's based on the comics, and it's like it's set afterwards. And like my favorite Watchmen character is Rorschach. He's not in the sequel. He's not going to be in after it, is he? So,
yeah, Rorschach. Yeah, he's the guy that played Freddy Krueger in the reboot franchise, didn't he?
We don't talk about
film.
That one.
It was a good film.
It was. There wasn't. They took the best bit that makes Freddy Krueger, the fact that he was guilty as fuck, and made him possibly innocent in it. So then you're like, oh, he's not that bad, really. Maybe they've just murdered a poor innocent weird looking like janitor. No, he was a dirty pedo. That's why they've set him on fire. That's why he's evil.
Right.
There you go. Luke Steele says the Watchmen TV show is unbelievable. He's a huge Watchmen fan, and it's one of the best limited series he's ever seen. So
I will watch it. It's on my list. There's so much I want to watch. I love that movie. It's literally one of my favorite. The soundtrack on it is phenomenal. The Watchmen film. Honestly, I could talk about films all the time.
I hope the blue guy never wears pants, though. I like.
The blue guy? I don't think the blue guy's in the Watchmen TV show, is he? Doesn't he bugger off and he goes and sits on the moon forever? And he's just
that must be like a PlayStation fanboy type of thing with the the blue guy not wearing pants. I mean, I don't know.
Jim paints his blue when he goes round to BMG's house.
I often don't wear pants.
Yeah, but they said big penis, not chipolata or whatever you've got.
What's it called? Me pig in blankets.
Honestly, we don't get this content on other gaming podcasts here. No other Xbox and PlayStation podcast gives you this high quality content and conversation. Yeah, exactly. You just don't get it. I still want to do a movies show, guys. I could talk about films to the end of time and TV and stuff because I watch a lot of it. I'll tell you what I did watch today, that new Power Rangers thing on Netflix, and I quite enjoyed it. It just was too short. It's only like 50 minutes long, so it's like it could have done me an extra half an hour. They sort of run through it, just like an extended episode to the point that it literally just feels like an episode. Like the plot moves at like lightning speed.
But they all are like 60+ years old. Come on.
They leave it open for sequels to this. I'll not spoil the story as such, but at the end they definitely mention like ways they could do more of these. So, there's
no way it's them in the suits. Yeah, there's no way they're in their suits. No, they've got the suits, and I saw a trailer. They look all fit, jumping around, fighting, and then you see them when they just stood there with the helmets off with beer guts and stuff. It's like, yeah, there's no way you were doing that.
But you've got to remember, though, in the original series, they weren't fighting in the suits. They were only there for the face shots and stuff. The costume fighting and everything was from a totally different series in Japan, and they just I can't remember what it's called, but it's a Super Sentai or something like that. So Power Rangers, that's why it changes every few seasons, because this show that they basically use all the footage from changes, so they have to keep up with it. So the plot of Power Rangers is totally different to this other series, and like the whole like the environment stuff, like that's why when they're fighting people, they always seem to be in Japan, even though they're like in California and stuff like that. So it basically the in-person shots and the story side is English filmed or American filmed, and then all the fight scenes are ripped from a Japanese show that's totally different, about like a superhero team, like a Earth Defenders team, basically.
Well, that's just like destroyed my illusion of my childhood. Cheers.
However, this one, all of the scenes are original for this one. Like all the fights and stuff are exclusive to this special. Basically, it's like it's all part of it. But it's good. It's got like classic Zords. It's got classic enemies. It's got lots of Easter eggs and hints to like classic characters, and it does have a nice tribute, obviously, to the two cast members that have passed away. And it's well done how they basically have all their characters still in the show, but it's well done how they get around that. Obviously, one of them had died prior to filming, and a lot of the other cast didn't return and stuff like that. But it was good. It was just too short. Like I say, it felt like you were watching. Do you like when you watch a Power Rangers episode and like the plot's a bit wishy-washy and it's quick?
I've not watched it since the 90s.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It felt like a kid's show, and obviously it is, but it's aimed at adults now because it's literally pulling on our nostalgia vibes.
Yeah, I love the film, the original film.
It needed to be the length of the film. It wasn't. It was literally the graphics looked like the TV show and stuff. It didn't have the budget of a full film, which is a disappointing to say it's a Netflix episode. And I didn't know that it was at one point owned by Disney, and they sold it back to the owner, the original creator.
Right. Oh, never knew that.
No, I found that out today. So there you go. I bet they shot themselves in the foot with that, Disney, and they could have had all that on Disney Plus.
Yeah, you could have had Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck in the suits instead.
I'd watch that. I'd watch it. Right, what else we got? Ready at Dawn, the studio Ready at Dawn has suffered a lot of layoffs thanks to Meta. So they apparently a third of the studio has been laid off this week, including the studio head and an ex-member of staff or a current member of staff said that they've pretty much lost half of their members of staff due to these layoffs and attrition since August last year. So it's not looking good for that studio.
Ready at Dawn are the ones that did. Was it they did
the Order?
Until Dawn and the Order. All right, different.
Yeah, so they made God of War Goes to Sparta and Chains of Olympus on the PSP.
Yeah.
They made The Order on the PS4. They made the God of War Origins collections and Akami and Deformers. I don't know what that is, but apparently it was on Xbox One.
Rip off the Transformers.
And then they've done like loads of Oculus Rift and MetaQuest games. So like Lone Echo, Echo Arena, Echo Combat, and Lone Echo 2. That's what they've been doing the last few years. But yeah, it's not sounding great for them there, which is a shame. That's probably why you're never going to get an Order 2.
Right. That's too bad.
I was looking forward to 1887.
Hope everyone who got laid off finds their feet and gets a job somewhere else. Warner Bros. Has announced a new Harry Potter game. So as we were talking about earlier, they've announced a Quidditch championships or champions Quidditch champion game, which is going to be a competitive multiplayer game for PC and consoles. So you can currently sign up now for a limited play test. You can find the link on Twitter and stuff like that. But kind of has reminiscence of Quidditch World Cup, which is a shame they didn't call it Quidditch World Cup 2 to get that nostalgia vibe. But yeah, it looked like a mobile game. I'm not going to lie, in the trailers, it looked very much like a CGI, like one of those videos you see from mobile games where they never look like that. So we don't know what it looks like, what it plays like, but it's coming at some point, and you can sign up to test it now.
I've never understood how that thing works, that Quidditch thing, because they just throw a ball through a hoop and you're meant to stop it while this gold thing, testicle thing flies around that you got to catch or something, and it wins you the game or something like that. Is that
right? So every time you throw the ball through one of the three hoops at either end, you get 10 points. And I believe if you catch the little golden thing that's flying, that ends the game. So the game only ends when the little golden thing that flies around is caught, and that's worth like 100 points or 150 points. So normally, grabbing that would win. But obviously, if you were so far behind, you wouldn't grab it because you wanted to catch up. So apparently, like, games can go for months, technically, or weeks, and I don't know how.
Jesus.
Yeah, and then there's obviously those other balls that like attack people and you smack them at each other.
While you're flying around on a mop.
Yeah, basically. But I remember the one, the Quidditch World Cup being fun on the PS2. It was limited, but it was a fun little game I used to play with my mates, and we had a good laugh at it. It was a fun little faux pas sports game as such. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is the reason why Quidditch wasn't included in the Hogwarts game, because they knew they were going to be bringing out a spin-off and they want a separate game. So why give it away in the main like single player game when we can charge you extra for it? Does sound like a big old cash grab there, though, doesn't it?
How much do you want to bet, though, after this game comes out, the patch, like a smaller version of it into Hogwarts?
Oh, 100%, yeah. It wouldn't surprise me.
And I wonder if it's going to get the same backlash that Hogwarts got. Don't buy this game because what's her face, whatever she's called, Rowling.
I don't.
J.K. Rowling is
transphobic. I kind of feel it's not, because the crowd that was jumping on Hogwarts Legacy, they kind of realized that they made fools out of themselves, because despite their original intentions, they actually put tons of money and attention on this franchise that they wanted people to stay away from. So it feels like the best way they can, keep people from paying attention to this franchise is not drawing attention to it. So I don't think we're going to see the same type of reaction from them that we saw before, because they realized that their reactions had the exact opposite effect that they wanted them to have. So maybe they'll be quiet this time around and just leave it alone.
Yeah, because Hogwarts, I think they said it sold, what was it, 256% more than they thought, so it just shows that out of all the people that was, saying to boycott it, nobody listened.
Well, and the whole thing was the group that was saying to boycott it was basically making assumptions and generalizations about gamers that were pretty ambivalent to the whole situation. But they were making assumptions just because you wanted to play it. And it was pissing people off, and they said, you know what, I'm going to buy it just because of this. Just because this group of people is saying this craziness, I'm going to buy it just to spite them, to show them that they don't speak for everybody. Do you know
what? I get why some people were annoyed. Like, watch the comments she's made are terrible. She was she's been fucking horrendous, really, on Twitter with some of the comments, and it will affect people who are maybe pansexual and stuff like that. But my complaint was the people that were complaining about that, but then they weren't complaining, or they were still playing on this. They were like, boycott this, never pay it. But they don't want us. They don't say anything when they're all playing on the Switchers, and Saudi Arabia has just bought a bigger share in Nintendo.
Yeah,
that's just as bad. All the women atrocities that they do in Saudi and stuff like that, all of the crazy stuff they've done. The women can't show the faces and stuff like that, and all that. Not show the faces, but they've got to cover up and stuff.
Yeah,
and no one cared about that because they wanted to play. They're happy with their Nintendo. They don't want to not play Mario, but a game they're not super bothered about. They're very vocal. You're either vocal about one thing or you're vocal about everything. So,
yeah, and it kind of feels like they just chose this because it had a lot of attention on it, because it's a big franchise, and they wanted to make themselves heard. Like, hey, support us in this, and it's like, you got to be careful when you do that stuff, because sometimes it's gonna explode in your face, and it's gonna completely it's not only is it not going to accomplish what you want, but it's going to make people side against you. Yeah. Which it did,
I'm all up for them being mad about it and stuff, and there's certain people that are rightly so. What she said is horrible, but I'm one of those people that can sort of denounce someone for their views, but not she technically didn't do anything to do with Hogwarts other than she created the IP.
Yeah,
she didn't develop it, she didn't write it, she didn't do anything. Some very talented devs made a very great RPG in the end.
Yeah,
but I understand, and I understand their frustrations, and they've got a right to be it. But a lot of it online ended up being from idiots. Do you know what I mean? So, and it's just for clout, really, and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, the whole situation and you know how it is on Twitter. I mean, things just get completely blown out of proportion. It gets out of control. It was the whole situation was just ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Is my mic any better now?
Yeah, it's good.
I think I just moved it slightly, so I do apologise.
It's all good. It just sounded like you were, going for a jog outside. I was like, oh, well, I guess that's cool. Yeah, except you weren't out of breath, so there's that.
And that sounded like you were just touching yourself then.
It explains why BMG was so quiet. He was enjoying it.
Squeaky.
Yep. That's funny.
Oh, man. Oh, have you guys got anything you want to talk about today?
I don't know. Well, I forgot. Is it 343 cleaning house? Getting rid of more
Yes.
staff have left.
We could definitely talk about 343.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
let's talk about that.
Where's it gone? I've lost it. I saw the topic then and it's disappeared.
Joseph Stanton left 343 for Netflix. He left Microsoft because it's like he was in 343 and then he went to another position within Microsoft, and then only a couple months later he goes to Netflix. And you know what? It's like normally in the gaming industry when you see someone depart, especially they depart from a position that's high stress where there's a lot of responsibility. Sometimes they take a couple months off and they just want to spend time with their family and kind of decompress. He immediately goes to Netflix. So it's pretty obvious that Netflix poached him from Microsoft, and he said, yep. He said, I'm out. And I mean, but the thing is, that's not, it's like if that was the only one that's left, then, you'd say, that's not really an issue. But there's a lot of people that have been essentially running from 343, and it's kind of like you want to ask what is really going on with this situation.
Yeah, because the Halo franchise director, Frank O'Connor, he's left as well.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I think people are leaving before they're pushed, or they're just not happy in the direction that Halo's going, because, they scrapped. Halo Infinite was kind of meant to be the game that was going to have multiple expansions and stories added to it on the Zeta ring, and they scrapped it all. Literally, all of it was scrapped. All the time and effort's now going into the multiplayer, and it's like, but you've got this, what is pretty much seen as the mascot for Xbox, is Master Chief, and you're doing nothing with him. You've scrapped the DLC. We have no idea what direction he's going. Are you going to make new DLC expansions? Are you just going to do the next game? Are you going to do a reboot or soft reboot or anything? There's just no. We don't know anything that's happening, and when we're seeing more and more of the leadership of the studio leave, it's like, what's going on over there? What's happening? Who's in control? Have they been told you have to do this direction, and they're not happy and they're leaving it?
And that's exactly right. With 343, there's a lot of smoke. The saying, when there's smoke, there's fire. And you could say, I mean, it's like this example. You see smoke coming out of someone's house, and you don't know that they have a fireplace, and they're just, they're burning stuff in the fireplace they shouldn't be, and their house is fine. You see smoke coming out the windows, and you call the fire department because you're like, hey, there's something going on. I think this house is on fire. That's what Xbox essentially looks like right now, particularly 343, because they've had tons of issues with Halo Infinite. And off the top of my head, I don't remember, but I know there was another studio under the Microsoft or Xbox banner that was having issues. But it's like, when you have this many problems, it's a clear indicator that something is going on over there, and it's not good.
Yeah, but it's just at this point, it's just like, where does it go from here? Does the Phil Spencer have said there is no Xbox without Master Chief, and it's like, that's fine. We understand that and we accept that, but what the hell are you doing with the franchise? Where's it going? What's happening? Give us some indication. Not saying wait till you've got a trailer or anything. Just kind of give us a bit of transparency in what direction you're going in. You don't have to tell us what the next entry is going to be about or anything like that. Just give us an idea of what is happening. Where you've got this big, huge universe. All the lore for Halo is just absolutely crazy. And it was just disappointing. I enjoyed Halo Infinite, but the game's not finished. That game doesn't actually end properly. It just seems like they've had to get the game out, they've had to cut bits, and it ended the way it did. And it's just like, well, what's going on? What's happening? Nothing's explained on the ending. You don't really know what's going on, and there's a good chance we're not going to see Halo for another maybe 10 years. And that probably might do good to give it a rest for that long. But, reassure the fans and, these huge people that study the lore back to front, know it inside and out. Just let us know, where's this game going? What's it doing? But, again, it's mismanagement.
It's like I feel, and some people have said that Master Chief is kind of the identity of Xbox. I agree that they may need to shelf him for a bit and try to transition to another kind of figurehead for Xbox. And you can't have Forza. As much as I love Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport, that just wouldn't work being the flagship franchise for Xbox. It wouldn't, because you need something with a hero, and Gears of War isn't going to work because Gears of War came after Halo did, and because Gears of War as of late just doesn't have the same really impact it did when it first released. So it's kind of like they're going to have to come up with something new. I kind of feel like they're trying to make Starfield the new flagship franchise. That's kind of what it feels like. So, we'll see, I guess.
But you look at, to take it back to PlayStation again, but you literally, the amount of characters that could be the face of PlayStation mascot, because there's just that many franchises that are well looked after, well fleshed out. And like maybe Xbox need to get, like, Sony have got Spider-Man, you think Spider-Man, you think PlayStation. Any game, you just think PlayStation. Xbox could do with maybe a licensed superhero where, and that every time you think of that superhero in a game, it's Xbox. To give these other IPs to try and get that stride back, and that, you think of these characters and it's all good things. But Fimber, I'm not sure what you're on about. BMG hasn't been playing in Halo lately or keeping up with the Halo news. I know they're doing a lot with the multiplayer side, and I know multiplayer it's really good now. There's a lot of new maps, modes, Forge. Yeah. I'm not slating the multiplayer side. That I know they're doing quite well with that, but it's the actual campaign story side. It's the Master Chief. That's what they need to work on. That's what we need. We need to know the direction he's going. Because literally, you go from the previous Halo game to this one, and 1 minute you've got Katana that wants to wipe out everyone, and Master Chief wants to try and stop her, but obviously it's hard because they had that relationship. You're all of a sudden in Halo Infinite, and it's like, oh no, I've changed my mind now. I don't want anyone to do anything, and I'm going to kill myself for it. And it's just like, what? This is just like a complete U-turn in where the story was heading.
Yeah,
you built up, and it just doesn't make sense. And I honestly do believe Halo Infinite is like Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain. They rushed the game out. It wasn't ready to come out, and there's just no ending to the game. It's like they had to scrap it, or because it's unfinished, and just shove this tiny little cutscene bit in at the end just to finish the game off. And it's not a satisfying ending.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't make sense. Nothing's sort of explained after that, and it's just like, what's the point? Because you've scrapped the expansions that was going to go into that, open new areas, and continue the story, which was the whole point in it, calling it Halo Infinite, because it's going to have multiple arcs all on this ring and wherever else they're going to go, and that's all now been scrapped. So it makes the ending even more pointless because you haven't got a continuation of that. And by the 343, Microsoft, Xbox, whichever way you want to look at it, not telling us what's happening or give us an indication. I'm not saying spill the beans on everything, but just a indication of the direction they're going to go in. Is Halo Infinite going to carry on, or are you just going to move on to the next game and everything that's just happened in Infinite doesn't really matter? Because you kind of passed over a lot of stuff when you went from Halo 5 to Infinite. It's, You know, a lot of the stuff in the previous games that all built up to, and characters and enemies that they sort of built up, makes no odds now because it's gone. The Flood. The Flood was a great enemy. It was great what they were doing with that, and it's just non-existent now, and it's gone. And you introduce this new enemy, or like an old enemy, but first time introducing in the game, and it just seems pointless because it's not going to go anywhere. It's like, this is why personally I think they should do a soft reboot like they did with God of War, God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok. Everything that happened in the previous games happened, but they took the newer games in a bit of a different direction, a different style, and it worked.
Yeah,
and it actually made. Sorry,
yeah. What I was going to say is the thing that really helped that to work is that Sony Santa Monica wanted to go in this different direction, and PlayStation pretty much said, hey, you know what, you guys can do it. And even when the head of PlayStation came down and saw it, he didn't like it, but he trusted them enough to really do the right thing because he knew they were a very capable studio, and of course the end result was phenomenal. But I feel like 343 doesn't necessarily deserve that much credit. And I'm not saying that they're not a great studio, but I'm saying allowing them to do a reboot, in my opinion, I think it would be a mess. You need and it's like, yeah, the multiplayer is solid, and I love Halo Infinite right now, but it feels like if you're going to reboot something, you need a higher quality studio than 343 because they're B tier at best,
Yeah. They're just not. They took over from Bungie,
and now Bungie belongs to PlayStation.
Exactly, and 343 boasted and all these things they were going to build on and do, and all these amazing things that they showed off and talked about. Yeah. And we never got any of that in any of the games. They've had multiple games to get it right, and Halo Infinite had to be right. The campaign was fun. The world, quite bare, apart from you've got a few enemies wandering around. There's so much they could have done with that, and so much more they could have added in. And it's just like, no, we need to get this game out. We need to get this game out. Stuff was being cut. Stuff wasn't used. And story content was cut, which we do know. They cut a lot of stuff because they needed to get this game out in a working, playing order. And it feels like, to compare it to films, it feels like the theoretical release of Justice League to the Snyder Cut. It's just not good enough. I did enjoy playing it. You can have some fun in it now in the co-op that they eventually release, but it's like, I just don't know where it's going. I don't know the direction it's going. I don't know what they're going to do. And it's just a shame. And it just makes 343 look worse and worse. And eventually, what do you do? Who do you give it to? What do you do with 343? Because don't get me wrong, they've got some very, very talented developers. They can make the game look beautiful.
But most of these talented developers are under the Bethesda umbrella. I mean, let's be serious. Because it's like you look at PlayStation and they have talented. They have talented studios like you have Insomniac, you have Naughty Dog, you have Sony Santa Monica, you have Sucker Punch. Just 4 right off the top of my head, I can name 4 that can make S tier games. But you look at Xbox, and I mean, you got Turn 10, Playground Games, and Coalition, but Turn 10 and Playground Games are racing only. That's all they do. Yes, Playground is making Fable. We don't know how that's going to turn out. Now, if it lands and it's solid and it's a phenomenal game, then you can say, okay, Playground Games is not only a racing developer, but they're also an action adventure game developer as well. So they're multifaceted. But as of right now, the only game development studio that they own that's not Bethesda that they could make something like this is the Coalition, because Coalition is so talented. In my opinion, they're on the same level as Naughty Dog and all those ones from PlayStation. But It's just like 343 is not, you know. Like I said, they're B tier. You know, you have Coalition that's S tier, and you got 343 that's B tier. And what made it worse is Bonnie Ross was promising all this stuff that still has not seen the light of day. My biggest one that's a gripe for me is how they promised couch co-op. And anyone who played Halo back in the days, that they know that was a big part of it.
Yep.
You know, couch co-op was a big part of it, and she promised it and said it was coming, and now it's nowhere in sight. So it's apparent that not only the management in 343, but people working for 343 just weren't able to do it. And it's like if you can't do something, obviously don't promise it. But how many of these other studios could have done something with couch co-op? I mean, you look at Coalition. I guarantee if Coalition would have had Halo Infinite, they would have had that couch co-op, no problem, because they're that level, they're that quality.
Oh yeah, but I personally feel now the Halo IP is just tainted. I don't think anyone wants to touch it. It's just so hard what you actually do with it now, who you give it to. They're probably going to leave it with 343, but
yeah.
You need a full shake up. Yeah, right. Leave it with the 343 studio. But let's get some new management in there. Let's get some new story directors in there and give them all the time in the world. All you need to say is we are resetting it, rebooting it, or we're re-looking at Halo. More news in the future. And don't put a time limit on it. Don't put it's coming out this year. Don't show a single thing off. And make it the best it can be, the most amazing story, and make sure it's fully complete, got everything. Even if it takes 10 years to do it, just let them go quietly. New story management, new upper management.
Yeah.
And let's get a direction going, which is going to eventually save this franchise. Because if they release one more bad Halo game, that'll be it. You probably won't see Halo again. Even though it's like the mascot, you won't see it again.
You know, and something, and I know you had brought this up, have other studios help them. You look at like Fallout, the difference between Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, and of course, id Software, you know, they're masters of the shooting mechanics. They helped Fallout 4, and the Fallout 4 shooting mechanics are phenomenal. You know, so yeah, technically, you know, you're pulling outside of the traditional Xbox umbrella, but if you had someone like id Software, or maybe even Machine Games help out Halo, it may vastly improve the game. Who knows?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, but I just don't know. I just think it needs to go away for a long time. Let them just work on the game, and you know, maybe 5, 6, 7 years down the line, wow us with something new. I do think we're going to get the showcase this year. I think we're going to see this Halo Battle Royale or whatever it's going to be. I think we're definitely getting that this year. Whether we get it out this year or we just get the full reveal, but I think that could be a fall 2023 game, I think.
You know, and my biggest issue right now with any showcase or any display or any huge event that they do is last year they had a 12-month window. A lot of these games that they showed in that 12-month window are still not released. Xbox is almost in damage control at this point. They need to get on top of some of these issues, like Redfall running at 30 frames per second. And, we're releasing 60 frames per second later. And it's like, it's fine that a lot of people are willing to play it. I'll probably play it at launch myself. But it's like, don't be showing all these content creators and all these people you fly out to California. It's running at 60 frames per second. Without saying, hey, you know what, it's 60 on PC, it's 30 on Xbox. They weren't clear about that until it got too close to launch, and all this footage they were showing was 60 frames per second. You know, you have Forza Motorsport, it's nowhere to be found. It's just, they need to come out. They need to do damage control for everything that's wrong thus far, and then say, you know what, we understand what the problems are. We're fixing those, but they're not even talking about the problems. They're keeping all of that inside. And it's like everybody on the outside can see the problems. So you need to be transparent. You need to say, hey, there's problems, but we're fixing them. Here are the problems, and this is what we're doing to fix them. Just because it restores confidence in Xbox. That way, when they have a showcase or a huge event, people will say, oh, fuck it. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt again. That's what they need at this point.
I do believe going to Redfall, the Snowbike Mike from the Kind of Funny Xcast, he was one of the people that flew up to play it, and obviously they played on PC, and he asked about the console version, and all he was told was, "We're not talking about console at this time." So that kind of raises a couple of flags when you're there. And they just turn around and say, "We're not talking about console." So that kind of raises some eyebrows, thinking, hang on a minute. We're playing it PC, even though, obviously it's for Xbox as well. Right, fine, we're playing it PC, but you won't give us any information at all about the console version. It's like, rings cyberpunk bells to me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back, Ash. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, I'm here. Hello. Sorry, I disappeared to get a drink. Oh, God, it's Thursday, and we've been nearly here 2 hours now, and you're fighting with Imra in the comments. Jesus, what's the world coming to?
Yeah. Let's go.
It's a me.
It's a me, Fabio. I let you taste my special milk.
Just checking if there's anything else we need to cover. I think we've covered all the main stuff today. So if you want, we can finish off with a quick 20 questions if you want. I've got a game in mind. It's up to you guys. If not, call it
sure. Whatever you want.
Right. So for anyone who's listening who may have not listened to the PSN Party podcast, we basically play a game of 20 questions. The guys have got 20 questions to basically ask with either a yes or no answer, and they have to whittle it down and basically name the game. Now, the game can be any game on any console or PC or platform, and we try to make sure that it's something they'll probably have heard of or played, and it's not something super obscure that like only the person who's thought of it can guess. And the last guess has to be the game. And also, if you guess the wrong game at any time, you've lost completely. Is that correct, BMG?
That is correct. That is correct. And I like it that the PSN Party Podcast is starting to weasel its way into the XBL Party Podcast.
Well, I've been talking to you two about, obviously, if I ended up doing more posting, doing a different end, like, because I like that we do the bit of fun for us over just boring news and stuff and depressing and fanboy news. I thought, you know what, we'll do something different. And I thought of an idea, but obviously, as this is off the top of my head, I haven't had time to plan for the thing I wanted to do. So we'll do the 20 questions. So ask away. I've got a game in mind.
Radio. Okay. Did this come out at 11 p.m. on the... right. Did this game release on the current gen?
No.
Consoles. Right. Okay. So that rules out all current gen release-wise, but I suppose there's a chance.
So, like PS5s and Series X and S, no, it doesn't release on that.
Yeah. Is this exclusive to one platform?
Let me check, actually. I believe so, but let me just double check.
Right, okay.
At release, it was an exclusive, yes, to one console.
Right, so... Right. Okay. Yeah.
It has
originally released exclusive.
Yeah, it has since been. It's since been out on other things, but originally exclusive. Right. Yes.
Okay. Did this release the exclusive release on a PlayStation platform?
No.
Oh. Okay. So Sentinel will be back in a minute. So It's not released on. It didn't originally release on the latest. When it did release originally, it was exclusive to the platform, but not PlayStation. So it could be Xbox One, Xbox 360, original Xbox. Could be Nintendo Switch, or any of the handhelds, or GameCube, Dreamcast. Ooh, come on, chat. Give us some questions that we could ask. We know it wasn't released on the current gen. We know originally it was released exclusively to one platform, and it wasn't PlayStation. Go on then, Fimber. We'll go with that and see where we go. Did it release on a Xbox platform?
Did it release on an Xbox platform?
Originally released when it was exclusive. When it originally released, was it on an Xbox? No. Oh, so that's your big two gone. Yeah, genre. We could go genre. Maybe I think if we could narrow down the sort of years it came out generation-wise. Did it release in the 90s?
Hang on. Yes.
Oh, 90s game. Okay. So that gives us. Yes, that'll give us. That's PS1. PS2, did that really? I don't think that released till 2001, I think. Hopefully Sentinel will come back at some point and I can pick his brain. So we know we're talking PlayStation 1. I can't remember when PS2 originally released. I think the original Xbox was 2001 or 2000. I think PS2 was around about the same time, but it wasn't PlayStation. So we've also got the N64. We've got God, what else do we have?
I also want to say, guys, the two, like Sentinel and BNG can't use Google either, like the internet. You've got to use your gaming knowledge. So if they are getting dates wrong and stuff like that, I'm not saying you are, but if they're getting odd things wrong, it's because unlike you guys, they can't Google to guess the answer. So
yeah, that's it. Got to think. You dive into the mind palace and gaming knowledge and doing it that way, which makes it more fun. Because if you have access, you could just shove all this stuff in Google and get it down easier. But no, it makes it more fun trying to dig in there and figure it. So we know it's a 90s game. We know it originally released exclusively on one platform, but eventually ended up on multiple. So that's kind of where we need to be around there. So we know it's not on the PlayStation side. We know it's not on the Xbox side. So that kind of narrows them down. So I'm thinking.
Right. So what I want to say, I'll say this because it was released exclusively on one console, but it eventually came to other consoles. Maybe not platforms, but other consoles. So I don't want it to confuse you. You're thinking like
stuck. Yeah. Right. So yeah,
because just the way you're wording it, I don't want it to sound like.
No. I was just like thinking, trying to narrow down what it actually released on originally. What would be Nintendo, Sega,
it's a
or anything
90s
like
game. It was not on current gen. It wasn't. It didn't launch on PlayStation. It didn't launch on an Xbox console. And I forgot what your other question was, but you've got 15 questions left.
Oh, Sentinel. Come back, Sentinel. Where are you? Was this a cartridge game?
Yes.
When it released. Oh, okay. So again, you could be obviously like N64 type. When did the Mega Drive or whatever they call it? Yeah, Mega Drive. Sega Mega Drive. Yeah, Mega Drive. That was cartridge. N64 was cartridge.
I'll give you a heads up because like your knowledge is clearly poor.
Back then,
the Mega Drive came out in '88. Bear in mind, and the Game Boy.
That was '80s. Was it late '80s, early '90s?
That came out in '89.
'89, that's a good memory. Yeah, I knew it was close. It was close to '90s.
Hopefully that assists you. You've got 14 left.
Yeah, well, if I wasn't doing it all on my own, because someone's decided they've got to go for.
Why don't you try and narrow it down a little bit?
I want to ask. I'm not asking yet, but I want. I've just got a feeling it's an N64 game. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think it's any of the handhelds, and I think it's an N64 game. Sorry, because Sentinel's not here, so I'm just going crazy. Did it originally release on the Nintendo 64?
No.
Oh, god damn it! Shit! When did Super Nintendo release? I forgot about Super Nintendo. The original Nintendo was 80s, late 80s.
All right, sorry, I'm back. I had to chase my dog. I had to chase my dog down the block. My kids are throwing out trash, and they said, "Hey, the dog just took off out the door."
Well, we've got two questions left, and I'm nowhere near.
Hold on, I got to catch my breath. Oh, that dog has long legs. Jesus. Had to chase him halfway down the block. He's like 7 houses down, looking in someone's flower bed. I was like, "Oh my god." Oh. Yeah, my wife said he's a good dog. Yeah, he's also a fast dog. Jesus, I need to lose some weight. Oh,
good boy. Give you a bit of exercise. Right. Here's what I can remember. What I've asked so far.
Wait, what you can remember? You're the only one that's been playing this. How could you not remember?
Because I've burned through a few questions. Right. So the game originally released in the 90s, exclusive originally when it released to one platform.
No, one console.
One console. Originally released on one console, but now it's on multiple consoles. It's not PlayStation, Xbox. It's not the N64. It was a cartridge game when it originally released.
It's got to be Sega then, because Sega is now only multi-platform.
But what about Super Nintendo?
Well, Nintendo usually keeps their games close to their chest.
Yeah. Well, it's not Mega Drive because that released in '88.
So the answer was it released on one console when it was released. It has since been ported to other consoles.
The game itself or the franchise?
The game itself.
So I've not asked if it's a franchise yet.
I don't want to say it's not a platform specific. Like, it's not been released on other platforms. It's been released on multiple consoles.
Is it a fighting game?
No.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because Mortal Kombat immediately came to mind.
And we know it's cartridge. It's like I was trying to narrow down if we can the actual console it originally released on.
So you said it's in the 90s.
It's a 90s console game.
On a cartridge.
Technically,
I'm saying console. I've given you a console and it's on a cartridge. So.
Well, because if it's cartridge based and it's in the 90s, that's still at the end of the original Master System as well as the NES. So it could be essentially 4 different systems.
Well, I asked if
you could narrow down. Like I'm going to give you a hand because it's hard. It's hurting my brain. This.
Oh my god.
Like
it's hard. If you're telling me it's hard and you play like 500 games like a month, oh my god! This could be 100. This could be 100 questions, and we're still never gonna guess.
No, this is a well-known game, but it's just hard listening to you.
Wait, who is it a well-known game to? People that play 500 games a month, or
no, just in general people.
I'm just asking.
People. When I tell you, you'll know.
Well, of course I'll know then because you'll tell me. You know,
ask the questions you'd normally ask. BMG doesn't ask the ones we normally ask. Like,
when you're talking about this, the first question that comes to mind is, did it sell less than 500 copies? So yes. Oh, great. No.
It's. I can't say what it like. Give more things, but it's a known game.
Well, of course, it's a known game if it sells one copy. I mean, it's known by somebody.
It's sold enough copies, people will know about it.
How many people?
Well, you've got to ask that question. You ask.
No, don't know. Oh Jesus!
Did it sell more than 500 copies? Is that a question? Yes or no?
Did it release on the Super Nintendo?
Yes.
Right. Okay. It originally released on the Super Nintendo.
So by saying originally released on the Super Nintendo, you mean that the first game in the franchise released on the Super Nintendo?
You've not asked that question. This game specifically released onto the SNES first.
Right, yeah. And now the game is on other consoles.
Should
we ask if it's a franchise?
To play on other consoles.
Was this game made by a Japanese developer?
Hang on. Let me check. I'm gonna say yes.
Right. But just because he said it released on other consoles, it could also mean it just released on other Nintendo consoles. Doesn't mean it went multi-platform to like PlayStation, Xbox, and anything else. So I'm thinking it's just a Nintendo game. Don't know about publisher wise or anything like that, but I think it's just a franchise that's on multiple Nintendo consoles.
Right. So reading up on this I'll let you know, right? It seems like it was developed by a Japanese developer and a developer from another country. Apparently there was 2 developers on it. But to make it easier, if you just think about Japanese developers, it would probably help you limit it down a bit.
I mean, yeah, but that's Japanese developers from the 90s. Half of them could be gone by now.
You've literally not asked, like...
Oh my god, so I go from killing my lungs chasing a dog to killing my brains trying to figure out a very niche game. Oh.
No, not even that. But you've asked a question. BMG's asked like a question, but not in relation to what you need to, like... He's asked it about other things, but not what you should ask.
Is this game... Well, do we ask if it's a franchise or do we ask if it's still around today?
I mean, you can if you want.
Let's try it. Is this game part of a franchise?
Right, I'm going to help you here. What you ask is it a franchise that's still around today? Is it part of a franchise? Because then you're saving yourself a question there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is part of a franchise that is still active to this day. That don't mean there's one out in the last sort of like 10 minutes, but it's still unless we've not been told otherwise, it's still an active franchise.
Are there more than 10 games in this franchise? Because I'm thinking about a specific franchise with this.
Apparently not. No.
Okay, good. So it's not Final Fantasy, thank God.
No.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh. What about something like Metroid?
You could have like narrowed this down loads, but I'm not going to say it yet. But
Metroid, it's still around today.
I'm disappointed in you, BMG and Sentinel. Like all the questions we ask, and you're not asking them.
Okay. Was it? So it's on different consoles. All right. So I'm thinking.
I wonder. What about? Would you class? I wonder. Would you? This is a question, Ash. Just more of a clarification. Would you class a wrestling game as a fighting game?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Because I was thinking like the old wrestling games, but no.
Don't ask that one, Fimbers. Just ask because that's too complicated to get into that. Like,
does this game has a main character multiple? Oh, Jesus Christ!
I'm gonna wrap this up tonight. You know, bloody hell.
How many questions? How many questions
You're
are
on
we
12.
on?
You've got 8 left.
Oh Jesus. Okay. Is this game? Oh shit. Okay. Damn, this is hard. This is really hard. Okay.
Do you know what? If you'd asked the certain questions, it wouldn't be that. You would have narrowed it down loads.
Well, of course, if we ask certain questions, that makes sense though, because you know which questions we should ask, and that's
it's questions you wouldn't have asked. We asked yesterday and last week. You're not asking the core stuff.
BMG is going to go back and watch our episodes.
No.
So it's not a platformer.
Wait. Game. So it's not a platformer, and it's from the 90s. Like half the games from the 90s were platformers.
Could it be a racing game? No. Yeah. Is it a racing game?
No.
So it's not like Mario Kart or anything like that. It can't be anything like no Mario game. Because obviously they're all platformers.
And it's not a beat 'em up.
No. Jesus.
Okay.
So
you said it came first to the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
It was released exclusively on the Super Nintendo, but obviously since that generation it has been released on other things, other consoles and stuff.
Is the IP still a no, you know what, never mind.
The IP is still active.
Well, no, that's not what I was going to ask. I was going to say because you said on other consoles, but you know, BMG brought this up before.
Not platforms, consoles.
Yeah.
Which would say it's on multiple Nintendo consoles.
Technically, yeah.
So, I would say, yeah.
So it's
I'll
still
give you that. It's come out on other systems from Nintendo, but it's not come out to other platforms that I'm aware of.
Do you play as a female?
I don't think so.
No, you would have known the answer.
I would assume no.
Right, yeah, because if you'd said yes, then I would have been sure. I would have thought Metroid.
So that's a platformer.
Yeah,
it's roguelike,
isn't it?
Yeah, Metroidvania game. It's not. I won't class it as a platformer personally.
Okay.
Right. So it's still round today.
I mean, technically, that's a platformer, though, right?
Meisuko. I don't know. It's is it? It's not come to other platforms, Meisuko. So it's not one of those games. It's not been released in a compilation recently. No, it's not. It's not. Pac-Man came out first on arcade, so it's not Pac-Man.
Yeah, Jesus, this is difficult. Okay.
Oh dear.
Oh, it would be tricky yesterday, didn't I?
And it's still round today.
Okay, so I have to
on Game Boy first.
I have to ask a BMG question. Does it start with the letter L?
L.
What?
He's like, did it release in 1993? And it's like, oh my God, why would you? So I figured I'd throw one in there.
I'll not take that. No, it doesn't start with the letter L.
Sorry, I had to throw it in there because every episode BMG will ask a question like that, and I'm like, oh my God, no.
Yeah, it was. It did start with an L. Whoa.
Yeah, no, that would be so lucky if that was true.
Right. Oh man,
you haven't asked the big questions. Do you want me to tell you some of the questions?
No, because then it defeats the purpose of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it defeated me right now. You got 5 left. And that didn't include Sentinel's L question. You get that for free because I'm a nice guy.
Okay, so it's not a platformer. It's not a racing game. It's on other consoles than the Super Nintendo, but it released exclusively first on the Super Nintendo.
And it's not a racing game. It's not a fighting game. It's not a platformer.
Right.
It was developed by Japanese and I can't remember where the other studio's from, but a non-Japanese studio. Looks like it was co-developed.
Okay.
But if you think of Japanese developer on Nintendo, it may.
I mean, Nintendo is Japanese, so
Exactly.
Okay, all right. Damn.
It was on a cartridge.
Well, yeah,
That's all you've asked.
released in the 90s, it was, yeah.
You haven't narrowed it down.
All right.
You'll kick yourself when you think about it in a minute. Come on, guys! It's time for bed.
Oh Jesus!
And this IP this franchise is still active today. Okay, all right.
Yeah, like we're on about, like I say, there has been releases in the last. I couldn't tell you exactly, but there's been multiple, probably since when do we say is modern? Say in the last 10 years. I don't want to narrow it down. There's been multiple releases for it in the last 10 years, so it is an ongoing franchise.
Okay.
Do you capture little creatures in balls?
Don't. It came out on Game Boy first. Plonk. Don't waste your points.
Shit. Yeah. Okay. What about like UK Dads or Zelda? A Zelda type game? No.
The Zelda game released first for the Nintendo. The first.
You've
Zelda
not asked if this was the first game in a franchise. You just asked if it was in a franchise that is still active. This specific game released on the SNES. But you haven't asked. This is what I'm saying. You haven't asked those questions like, is it the first in a franchise or anything like that?
Jesus.
Just saying the important questions.
Some of these games though are platformers, so that makes it difficult.
Yeah, no, that won't. Yeah, I can't include that one. I don't think.
I'm typing to BMG right now.
Yeah.
It's in the private chat. I can see that it's popping up. So, come on, guys. Think of something. You got this.
Does it feature an animal as the main protagonist?
Yes.
Ooh. Are we thinking Star Fox?
Well, you got to narrow it down before you voice it. I mean.
Oh no, I'm talking to you. I'm not asking now.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, why don't we ask if you play as a fox that flies whatever it is?
That's such a specific question, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's. I guess that's the only way you'd narrow it down. If you play as a fox, then it's going to be that game. We just need to figure out.
You could say, does it involve navigating a 3D environment? Because that was like one of the first games to do it back then.
Go for it.
Does it involve your protagonist navigating a 3D environment?
Yes, it does.
So it's Star Fox, isn't it? It's.
I really want you to get it wrong just so I can end your streak. I'm not lying.
See, BMG, you should have been the host of 20 Questions. Oh, because at least we could have said BioShock 2 and we would have gotten it right with like 2 questions asked and 18 remaining.
Oh jeez, yeah, I'm no good on this side of it. How many questions have we got left?
You've got 3.
So you play as an animal. You navigate a 3D environment. Does it involve?
Well, we don't know. We don't know if you play as an animal. We didn't ask.
I did.
No, we didn't. We just asked.
I did. Yep.
All right.
Does it involve? Because we said navigating a 3D environment.
Yeah.
The environment is 3D. Like if it helps, it's a 3D game in the sense that the SNES is 3D. Obviously, it's not real full-on 3D in the word 3D, but it is a 3D game.
Does it involve flying in this 3D environment?
Yes, it does.
There are a few other games that come to mind. but they don't involve you being an animal as the main protagonist. So, I mean, I don't know. I think it's pretty narrowed down, as narrowed down as we can get it.
Also, Pilot Wings was 2D on the SNES. Just to let you know, it was only 3D on the N64.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So we need to know if it's the first game in the franchise or not.
Go ahead.
Is this the first game in this franchise?
Yes.
Right. So it's the original Star Fox, isn't it? It's got to be. I'm not asking you, Ash, before you bloody.
Yeah, that's what my guess is.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be. Is it Star Fox?
Yes.
Hey!
Wow, amazing! I'm surprised we got it.
Questions I was going to say is you didn't ask if it was 2D or 3D.
Yeah.
Because I started thinking about that.
You didn't ask if it was a Nintendo first party, which would have narrowed it down massively. But well done. You got it. You didn't break the streak just on the last question. But like you say, it's one of those games, as soon as you know it, like the 3D would have gave it away because there's not many 3D on the SNES. But the way you've been asking questions previously, I was hoping you were going to ask if it's 3D before asking the Gen, because that would have thrown BMG and he'd have gone off into his own little tangent.
I should have asked. I should have asked if does your character wear a hat?
Who knows? Does he wear a hat? I don't know.
No, that would have knocked it. No, he doesn't in that. So we would have got it quicker then.
I mean, he wears like the little helmet thing, I guess. You know.
Yeah, he wears a little
Star Fox
tracker.
It wears
you survived.
An eye patch thing.
I'm quite proud that we've kept it going all these weeks now.
Nice.
You scraped by. Disappointed in chat because some of your suggestions were rubbish.
Wow.
Just saying.
No, it's good. It's good.
I couldn't say like because it came out on the Nintendo Switch, it came out on the Wii, it came out on the Nintendo mini consoles. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it did help by saying it when you were saying consoles. Then it's like right.
I tried to make it obvious because it's hard to.
Because with Nintendo, generally the games are only ever on Nintendo, nothing else.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I just didn't need to waste more guesses on.
Yeah.
But
we got there in the end. We did it. We survived.
Star Fox was the second 3D Nintendo game, the first being X on the Game Boy a year before, and it was the first game to use a Nintendo game to use polygonal graphics, which was achieved with the Super FX graphics chip that was included in the cartridge. There you go. So, and it sold more than 4 million copies, if you were wondering.
Nice.
Good.
Not 500. And like I say, it did have. There's been 9 games in the series released. If you count Star Fox 2 that got released in 2017.
Good. We need to convince Redders to let us do this at the end of every show.
He's dead to me. He's dead. They're all dead. Everyone's dead.
You know what? We could. You know what? I'm not even going to do that because I was going to say we could do it Xbox. An Xbox game that actually released on the Xbox console for XBL, and then one that released on a PlayStation console. But there's so many great games that released on the Nintendo. I just kind of feel like that would be.
There's great games that released just on PC as well in arcade and everything. Like the one we did yesterday was an arcade game, but it's fun. It's fun. I'm thinking of some other stuff though, maybe. So it's not going to be 20 questions if we keep doing it at the end of this show. Or
true.
So we'll do something interactive though, where the chat can join in and stuff. But we'll keep an eye out on that. Trying to see if I can get something to work in.
There's another fun type of game today, but we'll wait until we're off air and I'll mention it because it'll be easier.
That's cool.
But that's it, guys. Thank you for listening. The guys, BMG and Sentinel, managed to find the game, which was Star Fox, the original one. We've gone through pretty much all of the topics that I can think of today. So I hope you've enjoyed the show. I hope you've not minded me hosting it instead of Redders. Big thank you to both of you guys for coming on, as always. Do you want to give a shout out for anything? What have you got upcoming and stuff like that? Is there anything you want to plug while we're here?
I mean, we got we still have our show next week, obviously. XBN USA is not canceled, despite Jenna ducking out like we figured he would. It is actually going to be next week. It'll be next week, next evening. It'll be next Thursday evening, so it is going to happen. We just got to figure it out. But we also have a number of videos coming up. I recorded the audio for it. Ash is putting them together. So you guys definitely keep an eye on our XBN on our page. Like we tweet it and on Twitter. So definitely keep an eye out for those because there's tons of them coming, and it's a lot of different games that we've been doing reviews for. So definitely keep an eye out for those.
Yeah, I'm just doing one a day at the moment for reviews. We've been doing quite a bit, and a couple of people moaned about it. You know who you are. So for now, I'm doing like one review video a day. We'll still be, but I'm going to be doing a lot more streaming. We're getting shorts coming, and there's all sorts of content coming. So
yeah,
Misuko, you missed it all. Jinna is unfortunately decided to take a what's the word? Sabbatical that of undecided length.
So the next 3 or 4 years, yep.
Yeah, so he may come back, he may not. It's not anything bad. We're not having any sort of infight or anything like that. He changed his job and he now works weird hours and stuff, and he wants to spend more time with his family when he's awake. And I totally get that. I would do that. You need a happy work-life balance, and chatting shit with us and that every week isn't a massive priority, but we like to give him shit for it. So he might come back on at some point, but for now he's having a break. He's coming off socials and stuff, and he's just gonna do what his wife tells him.
Right.
You can hear the whip from here. What about you, BMG? You got out to promote?
No.
Yeah.
We've got obviously everyone's been crying out for it. My messages are full. My phone doesn't stop ringing. But no, we are actually coming to XBN on Sunday, the 30th of April at 8 p.m. BST. Will be the new Destiny podcast show. You're going to have all new faces on there. Myself hosting, and I think it's rather 3 or 4 other panel members, but I'm just ironing a few little more things out and designing a few bits. But yes, that'll be coming along. So if you are interested in Destiny or just want to give me shit for liking Destiny, check us out. There'll be more information coming on the socials soon. But yeah, keep an eye out for it. It should be fun. A good bunch of guys, all big Destiny players who I play online with, who know the stuff more than I do. But yeah, keep an eye out for it. Coming soon, more info.
And it's going to last more than 2 episodes, isn't that right?
Oh, it will. Well, we've just done episode 19 of the PSN Party Podcast, so we're doing.
Yeah, I think I counted the other day. Yeah. I think we've hit over 150 episodes now across all of the shows we've done in the last 2 years. We've done 150 plus now, and that includes obviously the original XBL Party Podcast, the UK version, the US version, the PSN Party Podcast, and the We Blow Carts podcast. So we've been pumping out content for 2 and a bit years now. It's crazy. Loads. I've got a stream up tomorrow, a sponsored stream. So if you want to check it out, it's going to be fun for an hour or so. I'm playing Let's Pet Pets, which is like an idle pet management game. So it looks fun. Try that out for the developer. So that's at, what time am I doing it? 9 p.m. So 9 p.m. BST tomorrow night. So jump in. It'll not be hours and hours. It'll only be about an hour long. Just having a laugh on it. But yeah, and then we'll be posting up about like the upcoming sort of schedule and stuff, what we're going to be doing, and any changes we're making to the lineup going forward. But keep an eye out because it's all coming very soon. We've just got to sort of finalize everything and make some changes and stuff. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, Meisuko, Thimber, Pixel Slapper, Muppet, Dazarus.
Shadow Mole was in the chat earlier too.
The corpse of the Jinner. all of you. Luke Steele was here. So if I've not shouted you out, I totally apologise. But yeah, thank you to everyone who has been here chatting and everything. It means a lot to us that you all tune in every week, and we will see you very soon. And I'll get this up very quickly onto audio providers, as well as yesterday's episode will be up probably tomorrow for you to listen to on all your podcasting services. But then that, let's go to bed. It's been 2.5 hours. It's probably the longest XBL Party Podcast UK we've done in ages. So I've been Ash, aka I'm a Ghostbuster, joined by BMG, joined by Sentinel. This is the XPN Network. But good night, guys. See you later.
Later, guys.
God bless St. Jimmy.